Have you ever experienced true pain? A pain that is so life-altering that you can pinpoint the exact moment, a mistake that you made that put you on that path in the first place? A chain reaction of horrible blunders that perfectly reverberated outward from one singular moment. A moment so fully devoid of any possible God that it somehow, in retrospect, causes just as much pain as the pain itself. Hello everybody, my name's Tank Runner. I watched M. Night Shyamalan's The Last Airbender movie 10 times in a row, and today, you're going to be watching two men slowly, over the course of a little more than 18 hours, descend into madness and go absolutely 100% cuckoo f***ing bananas. Before we get started though, I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to the research team. This project, for obvious reasons, was a massive undertaking, turning 111 gigs worth of insanity into something even remotely coherent. So in an attempt to protect all of you from falling to the same fate as our two test subjects, I would like to briefly go over the structure of this video, and also clarify, before we head down there, that the entire thing has been segmented into chapters that you could take a look at on the timeline or in the description below. On the first layer, we have the whole video separated by viewings 1 through 10, summarized and labeled based on each of their overall theme. Each of these sections will include a quick peek into the morale of our two subjects, followed by a challenge selected by the subjects before each viewing began, in an attempt to maintain their mind as they delved deeper into the abyss. After that will be two clip reels, the first being highlights from that viewing, and the second being a collection of memes that, for reasons I'll be getting into in a moment, will be referred to as anchors for the length of the study. Each viewing will also be paired with two topics that include the most dangerous parts of the experiment, the most probable causes of deterioration to the subjects. Not only are these discussions far too in-depth to put into this video whole cloth, but even with all of our protective gear, it will not be enough to shield us from what's down there. I will be doing my best to deliver these findings to all of you on behalf of the subjects, and these findings will be the closest to a review of this film that we'll be getting to during the duration of this video. We will repeat this process 10 times, and by the end, we will hopefully learn a few things about the limits of the human mind and the effects an eldritch creation can have not only on those who observe it, but on those who birthed it into existence to begin with. I do not suggest that you subject yourself to this film, but some of you may be lacking context that will be needed moving forward. So I will be providing an incredibly accurate distilling of all relevant information. Legal warning, however, despite receiving this story from a secondhand retelling, there may still be side effects. 100 years ago, there were 4 nations: water, earth, fire, and air. Each nation had the ability to control one of the 4 elements. They all hated each other, but these nations were kept in line under penalty of death by a person known as the Avatar, the only person who could control all 4 elements and talk to ghosts. Then he disappeared, so everyone started killing each other. In present day, a girl with magic water powers called Katara and her violent, mentally challenged brother Sokka are hunting for food when they come across a frozen boy. The boy's name is Aang, he's a psychopath, and coincidentally, the Avatar who was lost in a storm 100 years ago. When Aang is freed from the ice, a Fire Nation prince named Zuko, his uncle Iroh, and a ship full of people who can't firebend show up, capture him, and then let him escape. Aang regroups with Katara and Sokka, who agree to help him find his way home. The group arrives at the Southern Air Temple when Aang finds out that the Fire Nation genocided the air nomads during their search for the Avatar, making Aang the last of his kind. Aang, Katara, and Sokka go to the Earth Kingdom and find a camp of literally hundreds of Earthbenders being held prisoner by like 6 guys who can't firebend. 13 Earthbenders throw a tiny rock and the Fire Nation crumbles in seconds. After helping these people, Aang decides to travel the world fighting back against the Fire Nation so he can satiate his racially charged bloodlust. A Fire Nation Admiral named Zhao meets with Zuko's father, the Fire Lord. The Fire Lord has disowned his son unless he returns with the Avatar, but Admiral Zhao wishes to find the Avatar first. Aang goes into the Northern Air Temple where he walks directly into the most obvious trap ever made, and an old man tells him, "Someone call an ambulance, but not for me." And the Fire Nation, led by Admiral Zhao, captures him again. A masked band called the Blue Spirit frees Aang from the Fire Nation, where they then mow down dozens of men in an absolute bloodbath. Aang finds out that the man was secretly Zuko in disguise. Zhao believes Zuko and the Blue Spirit are one and the same and wishes to confront him. The Fire Lord tells Zhao not to harm his son. Zhao agrees, but then immediately tries to assassinate him in the most suspicious and mysterious ship explosion I have ever seen. Aang, Katara, and Sokka reach the Northern Water Tribe so Aang can be trained and made a master of waterbending to fight against the Fire Nation. They meet with the royal court, where the princess and Sokka non-stop for 2 weeks. Zhao prepares an assault on the Northern Water Tribe and has the funniest line in the whole movie. The princess explains that the ocean and moon spirits saved her life when she was born and that she has part of them inside of her, or something like that. I wasn't paying attention. Zuko sneaks into the Northern Water Tribe to capture Aang. Iroh arrives with Zhao and the Fire Nation attacks. The princess takes Aang to the ocean and moon spirits to meditate. Katara won't shut the up, but despite that, Aang is able to talk to a dragon, who tells him that everyone he ever loved is dead, and every death caused by the Fire Nation is his fault. Zuko beats the ever-living shit out of Katara. Aang throws Zuko off the top of the Hell in the Cell right into the Spanish announcer table. Zhao and Iroh find the cave with the spirits. Zhao kills the moon spirit, and in retaliation, Iroh's eyes turn red for some reason. When the moon spirit dies, the moon disappears, taking all waterbending away, leveling the playing field considering none of the Fire Nation's army can firebend. The princess gives her soul to the moon spirit, killing her and bringing the fish back to life. The moon comes back, waterbending comes back, the Fire Nation is again... Admiral Zhao has a hate crime committed against him by 4 Water Nation Proud Boys and dies in the process. Aang kills countless Fire Nation soldiers and threatens to kill everyone in the tri-state area with a massive tsunami. The Water Tribe and the few Fire Nation soldiers left stop fighting and bow to their new overlord. Aang gives us a burrito, end of movie. This may all seem insane, but I promise you, this is exactly what M. Night wrote. I might as well be quoting him. Now, for those of you who have peeked a gander at the timestamp of this behemoth and are already beginning to question your life choices, I'm not going to take up any more of your time. This video is already long enough as is, but for the few of you who haven't quite strapped in yet, I want to give you one last chance to back out now before anything else. Right, never mind, you're f***ed. Eyewitness accounts state that the two subjects gathered at sometime in the late afternoon on Friday, October 1st, 2021. They set up all of their preparations for the stream that was to take place the following day, and then, right before bed, Subject 1 went to turn out the lights in the room and accidentally flipped a light switch that, for some reason, Subject 2 had rigged to cut off all of the power running into the entire room. After several minutes of panic and frustration, the computer fired back up, and they proceeded to stay up until 3 o'clock in the morning redoing everything they just did. They awoke just 4 hours later, slapped each other across the face a few times, and began the stream Saturday morning, October 2nd, 2021. Despite a lack of sleep and a general feeling of looming dread, morale was high.
I am genuinely excited. I know that this is bad. Remember, I trust myself. I am genuinely excited to watch this. It has started, and I'm already, like, getting back into that place where I was when it came out in theaters.
Unlike other viewings, the first did not have a gimmick selected for it. The subjects were in good spirits and decided to try and just enjoy the ride, a decision they would soon come to regret.
So how long do we wait before we talk about casting? Oh, man. Whoa, check out that hot 11-year-old boy body.
Wait,
Freeze, punk. This is an officer of the law, and you're under arrest.
This is Prince Zuko, and as you can see, he was exiled after his father made him sleep on the one side of his face for a little too long.
Yeah.
Appa kind of looks like a combination between like a cow and the Babadook fused together into one creature. I know we're only 18 minutes into the first viewing, but I genuinely just did think like, got 9 more of these. And I almost shit my heart. My heart almost came out of my own asshole.
Oh, God.
Did you like that dub over of that girl laughing?
Yeah. You see, it's the sound effect rule of you see item, you need to hear item. So like you see dog, you hear dog bark. You see baby, you hear dog baby.
You hear dog barking. You see girl laughing, you hear dog barking. Genuinely, whatever you do, you should just hear dog barking. You need to go back.
Oh my God.
Oh man, that face. Oh boy, oh boy.
Okay.
That was a very important reaction shot. My God, here they go. Look at oh my God, look at that guy. I don't know what that guy's doing. You think that guy's dead?
That's the king.
Was it?
Yes.
God, I need to pay more attention.
I thought they were gonna.
Look at those fish statues.
I knew you were real.
I know what you are.
Say it.
The Avatar.
You won't be killed by waterbenders if you stay hidden here.
No, but I will freeze to death. Yeah, I will freeze to death, which I guess is better than getting cut in half with water.
Yeah, suddenly these waterbenders.
Hey, wait, what the was that? Are you for real? Are you Oh no, the moon's back. The waterbenders, they got their bending back. The first thing we see is a waterbender jump on top of a man and just start punching him in the
Now seems like a good a time as any to explain anchors, seeing as you just saw one. Throughout the experiment, the subjects would point out certain absurdities, something that was noticed for the first time during that viewing, drawing so much attention to itself that it became impossible not to bring it up and talk about, even for just a moment, every subsequent viewing afterward. I've come to calling these anomalies anchors, because they tend to be used as a sort of depth marker, something that the subjects could point to, either to denote how far they had fallen, or as a sad attempt to attach themselves to any semblance of reality. I'd like to now show you a few examples.
Oh my god, I just got so lightheaded. I laughed so hard. Can't remember where the book's at. Wow, that's really far in. That's a big close up.
Yeah, they don't want to get us tattoos.
Yeah, I feel like, they didn't have time to put the tattoos on that day. Oh my god.
Yeah,
that did not look great, did it?
That's a bad.
Oh, oof. Okay, it's better now. It was just real bad there, Fred. Nope, it's back to shit again. Oh, there's the dick hair. There it is, everybody. There it is. We've made it. Look at all these white waterbenders.
Yeah.
Look at all of the young boys that they collected from Connecticut to be these waterbenders. Deal.
Katara just looked at this 200-foot wave and smiled.
And was like, that must be Aang saving all of us with this giant wave that is not going to pick sides.
Terrifying.
I've been looking through the notes left by the subjects, trying to decide the order in which to discuss reoccurring topics. Originally, I had the idea to approach them based on size. Then I thought about maybe covering them based on the negative effect they had on the subjects. But after combing through the footage, I think the easiest way to go about this is to try and cover them in the closest thing to chronological order that I can. Which means, if we were to do this right, it would be irresponsible of me if we didn't first talk about...
Will you go penguin sledding with me?
Now I'm going to try and keep this brief. If you've seen the movie or you're watching this video, most likely you've seen Avatar: The Last Airbender. So I'm not going to waste time recapping the show or explaining in detail why it's one of the best animated shows of all time. I do, however, want to talk about the biggest differences between the show and the movie. Shyamalan wanted the movie to be quote-unquote darker than the show. It's one of the main things that he talked about during interviews. He used a lot of terminology like grounded, serious, and realism, which of course completely ruined the entire thing. Don't get me wrong, you can accomplish all of those things with Avatar. The original show had plenty of mature moments and covered a lot of heavy topics while still being, you know.
Now, check this out.
Hell, as much as I despise Korra for its piss-poor writing and direction, it showed that you could get even darker, that you could get serious, that you could aim for an older demographic, that you could do everything that M. Night wanted to do while still having lighthearted moments to remind us why we care about this world and the people who live in it. But it seems like the only way that he could think to do that was to remove everything that made Avatar what it was. The style, tone, and humor have been completely ripped out. All the characters are sad cardboard cutouts of their former selves, and none of that was replaced with anything. Just some filler to pad out the runtime and a really confusing amount of murder. The writing for the original show does an incredible amount with very little. It is the perfect example of show don't tell. It isn't afraid to leave things unspoken, and the dialogue that is there does a lot of heavy lifting. Every line gives information about the world or story while also fleshing out the character who is speaking it. No lines are wasted. Which leads me to a little game that I like to call characterization. Also known as, please God stop doing this, what the f is going on, please no I can't take this anymore. Looking at book one exclusively, just to be fair, let's talk about the main characters from the movie. What can I say about each of these characters from the show compared to their movie counterparts just off the top of my head? Despite not being given much about Fire Lord Ozai, his presence, or lack thereof, was used to build up tension before he finally became an active player in the story. Everything that we learned about him was given to us in just the right way to never perfectly remove the shroud of mystery around the character. How much of what we had heard was true? Could someone really be that intimidating to bring fear into the eyes of some of the most dangerous people in the world? Could someone truly be That ruthless. He wanted power, nothing else. And not because of some need to do right by the Fire Nation, not even necessarily because of some manifest destiny bullshit made up by his own people, but because no one could stop him from taking it. When you become that powerful, that above the natural order of things, the world might as well have your name on it. Fire Lord Ozai in the movie is like they took the mom and dad from Malcolm in the Middle and fused them into one person. Admiral Zhao was the first real big bad of the show. When it came to his place in the Fire Nation military, he was ambitious and cutthroat, stepping all over anyone he deemed beneath him. Whatever he had to do to claw his way to the top and to put his name in the history books. His main character flaw, like many other less than S-tier firebenders, is how quick he is to anger. On several occasions, we are shown his rage being used against him, and every time it takes him out of the game almost immediately. Admiral Zhao in the movie is a sassy bitch and an absolute Chad with some of the most savage dunks I've ever seen captured on film. Uncle Iroh is the heart of the show. Don't agree? Fight me. He is wise, calm, humble. He sees the best in everyone around him. He's easygoing, kind, selfless. He has made mistakes that he is still trying to make up for, but is content with where he is in his life. He sees the silver lining in every situation, so he doesn't worry about himself, but instead goes out of his way to help his nephew become a better person, trying to teach him that you can't lose your honor because of what other people say. You can only lose it based on the actions that you choose to take. All for the singular purpose of steering Zuko away from all of the pain and suffering he himself has gone through. Uncle Iroh is a war veteran who is proud of his past accomplishments as a general, and is the kind of person who just stands there like a cuck when someone makes fun of his dead son to his face. Zuko is kind of a little shithead. He's entitled, self-righteous, and whenever he doesn't get his way, he flies off the handle. But there's a reason for that. Saying that Zuko is a conflicted character might be the understatement of the century. This kid was raised in an abusive home, and he wears the proof of that on his face. But in his eyes, the scar that his own father gave him is nothing more than a stain on his pride, a sign to everyone around him that he is a failure. He looks at honor through a completely external lens, craving validation from all the wrong people for all the wrong reasons. He wants his father's love and respect, and is willing to die for it. The sadness and anger he feels is not something someone his age should have to deal with, and the only way he knows how to handle any of those emotions is to point them at anyone who gets in his way. While working on all of these write-ups, I've been doing my best to avoid using actions and events to describe these characters. Because even though how a person reacts to things that happen to them can tell you a lot about them, a person is more than a list of things they've done and experienced. If I were to stick to that rule, describing Zuko from the movie would be impossible. Sokka is in the uncomfortable and unfair years of being simultaneously treated like a child and an adult without any of the positives of being either. He desperately wants to be seen as a man, not just because he wants to be someone that others can look up to, but because he wants nothing more than to be useful and to help everyone around him the best he can. He wants to be strong, he wants to be skilled, he wants to be able to protect everyone and everything that he cares about. He can be very intelligent, solving problems by looking at things in ways that most people don't, but he regularly causes conflict for himself for no reason, just by opening his mouth and being condescending as a brother, a warrior, or as a man. He learns a lot and grows as a person over the season, so much so that when he reaches the Northern Water Tribe, he is introduced to a bunch of people who are just like he was before he left his home, and he's shown to be more prepared and better equipped to deal with this situation than most of them. Sokka is the equivalent of a potted plant put on a table by the sound guy to hide a microphone in the middle of a scene. Katara is capable and caring. She's always going out of her way to prove her worth and to improve her skills as a bender, and can get frustrated when she feels as if she's failing to do that. She takes on a motherly role for the group, trying her best to make sure that everyone is taken care of and stays safe, even those who she has just met. She has a strong sense of justice and an understanding between right and wrong, making her the moral compass and even the voice of reason in some instances. But because she is still naive and headstrong, that can sometimes be a huge problem. It can lead to her prioritizing what she thinks is right for someone over what they may want for themselves. Katara from the movie is a mouthpiece for the paragraphs copy and pasted from the Wikipedia page that M. Night forgot to turn into dialogue. Aang is a happy-go-lucky kid with fun being put at the top of his list in a lot of situations. He believes that you don't have to take everything so seriously and teaches people how to live instead of just survive. He wants to have a normal life, but feels a responsibility to forgo all of that to protect those who cannot protect themselves. He always attempts to avoid conflict, but isn't afraid of it. If he has to, he'll fight, but is always evasive or defensive, never going out of his way to permanently harm anyone. He's empathetic, and his willingness to trust people is practically a flaw. He has a reasonable respect for tradition, and his culture means the world to him. But at the same time, he doesn't believe in tradition for tradition's sake, and there are some things that are too important to sacrifice for the greater good. Aang is a boy that sometimes feels sad, and the rest of the time is a bit of a mystery, coming across as a calculating machine. Everything he does is for the sole purpose of crossing some stuff off of a checklist titled, How to Stop the Fire Nation at All Costs. He's a sociopath with a body count. At this point, most of you have probably noticed something, so let's just address the elephant in the room and talk about the—
My name is Aang, and I'm the Avatar.
M. Night went out of his way to mispronounce practically every proper name of a person, place, or event in the entire movie.
Sokka! Have they been calling him Sokka this entire time? Or is this new?
My name is Aang and I am the Avatar. Oh my god. An Agni Ki duel.
They haven't been able to conquer big cities like Ba Sing Se, but they're making plans, I'm sure.
Well, Jesus Christ, at least they got Ba Sing Se right.
Yeah, they didn't mispronounce that one, but I don't know how you would. Like, passing.
Ba Swing Sway.
Say
Ba Swing Sway, and there's no pauses. You say it all in one word.
passing way.
Swa Swing. Oh no. Mohawk, we would die. If we drank every time they mispronounced a name.
It's literally every name.
Holy shit.
Literally every name.
He said in multiple interviews that the reason for this was to make the movie more realistic, and that all the names he changed were names that either would not be pronounced that way by Asian people or would be impossible to be said by Asian people. Weird way to say that, bud, but okay, I'll just ignore the part of the quote that makes you sound like a twat. Listen, I get what he's trying to say, and I'll be the first person to defend the idea of bringing realism to a fantasy setting. People who say shit like,
"This is a film about space wizards intended for children,"
deserve a cross chopped to the throat for being thicker than horse shit.
I hate that argument. It's the worst argument imaginable, and I hate people who think that that's like, and checkmate, I got you. If we were watching this movie and Mark Hamill showed up, and he was just Mark Hamill, and he was like, hey guys, I'm Mark Hamill, the guy who played Luke Skywalker, and they pulled out a lightsaber, and he farted to fly, and he was dual-wielding machine guns and shit. You wouldn't go, oh, well, it's a fantasy world, anything can happen. You'd go, this is insanity.
Every fantasy setting has its own rules about how the world works. No matter how insane or outlandish the world is, it has its own version of realism. And if you act like that doesn't matter, if you don't care about your own world, why the should we? No rules, anything can happen, congratulations, your stakes are dead. Which leads me to the point of this tangent. Obviously, M. Night didn't take it to that extreme. I mean, he did, but that's later. We're not talking about that yet. I just mean when it comes to names. But, and this is probably going to be weirdly controversial for some of you, Avatar is a fantasy world. No one in the show is Asian or speaks any of the 2,300 languages that people speak there. The nations are treated as if they are a one-for-one stand-in for a real-life group of people, and they aren't. Sure, they are heavily inspired by certain groups, but it is never exclusively one ethnicity or nationality. Suggesting otherwise will send you spiraling into a never-ending actually conversation, and for proof of that, just go check Reddit. Following his logic, Aang was changed to Aang because that's the way it's supposed to be pronounced. But there's no issue with casting a white boy as a Tibetan monk. By my logic, changing the names of several beloved characters as an introduction to you lining them up in front of a firing squad is probably not a good way to garner trust with your audience. Aang should be called Aang because that's his name, and we should cast anyone who can play the role well and who looks as similar to the artwork as realistically possible with the least amount of extra effort needed. Now, how to properly cast someone as a pre-existing character is a completely different issue that we'll talk about in a second, but let's not pretend that M. Night cared about making this movie realistic by any standard. He either tried and failed miserably to do something dumb but unbelievably easy, or never planned to do any of that and just changed whatever he wanted arbitrarily, from something big like world building all the way down to something small like the pronunciation of a name, and either didn't care or didn't understand the effect it would have on the rest of the movie because he's a bad writer and a bad director. But we'll save that rabbit hole for when the Percocets kick in.
So that was our first viewing, everybody.
It was.
I think it went fairly well. I don't know how I'll feel once we're about halfway through the second viewing, but right now I'm feeling pretty spicy, feeling pretty good. Come along with us on this ride. Don't try and wiggle out of this. We're doing this together. This is a group bonding experience. It's like when all those people go to like war-torn countries and they die horribly and they get disfigured and they come home and they're like, well, at least we did it together.
You'd rather be
This is our Vietnam. What I was trying to say was we are bonding through trauma.
Okay.
That's what I mean. Before the second viewing began, the subjects decided to give themselves a challenge to make things more interesting, and with the help of the observation team, decided on a ban of all negative remarks directed at the film.
Oh no. Ark, I had a panic attack. Just had a panic attack. I looked at the screen and I was watching the movie and I was trying to think of something to say and I couldn't because I can't be negative. Oh no, did I fail already? Is that a negative thing to say? You guys give me this one? Just this one? Okay. I won't do it again, I promise.
They reset the challenge, but decided to up the ante. From now on, there would be rules. If the subjects failed a challenge, they would both be put in a debt of 1 shot at the beginning of the drinking challenge on viewing 6. If they passed a challenge, they would be rewarded a negative shot, potentially erasing a shot that was owed. They would be given 1 reset per challenge, but if they were to use the reset, they would no longer be eligible to earn a negative shot. Due to a combination of the subjects lacking a basic understanding of their own ineptitude and an overwhelming drive to get absolutely zooted as soon as possible, this was agreeable to them.
Yeah, no, it's hard to...
Don't you say it.
Not going. Their clothing looks nice.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh, we're not even 6 minutes in.
Trying to eat me.
No, that's actually a genuinely funny line. Oh my god. Ark, I think I'm just gonna take the shot. I think I'm gonna take the shot. We are 10 minutes in, and I feel like I have nothing to say.
Like, if we don't have anything nice to say, we just don't say anything.
It's just silence. Yeah. Oh no.
We did better than we expected. Oh, look, it's the first time we see the dragon. And
The dragon
Aang
spirit.
Takes up his fists to fight the dragon.
Bot where I. Oh my god. We gotta think this shit out a little bit more before we agree to more shots, Ark.
I'm here for like 20 hours. I don't need to think.
I was gonna say we're here for a good time, not a long time, but I realized that 20 hours is a pretty long time. My only saving grace is that at 1 o'clock, a bag of Tostino's pizza rolls will be hand delivered to your house.
That's right. Oh, firebending.
Oh, what? Oh my god, I missed it. I wasn't looking. No! That was the only firebending in the whole movie, and I missed it.
That's why.
If only the writer would have watched the show before he wrote the script.
I bet he didn't.
Do you genuinely think that?
Yeah.
You think maybe he didn't even see, he saw some of it, right? If he was a good director, he should have. Son of a bitch. I'll say it to his face. Any of you guys got the personal contacts of M. Night Shyamalan? Let's get it trending on Twitter. Hashtag M. Night Shyamalan has not suffered enough for his transgressions against the Avatar fan base. That's the whole thing. That's the trending. Get that whole thing going.
Like, I'm willing to bet that would be enough air. You like how long he has? They
run up, right? They're like, stop right there. They've got nowhere to run. And then Aang like looks at them and like turns around and just like runs. And it's like the way he's like,
Oh my god, the push.
All airbenders should be dead. Kill him!
That's always gonna be funny. All the airbenders are supposed to be dead. Kill him. With the little marble.
Why is he just hooing? Is this the... That guy's not even doing anything. He's not even swinging this. He's not even shaking his spear.
I'm sorry. That one soldier.
He looked like the guy from that's like in Accepted. The
Jonah
ask
Hill.
me about my wiener.
It looks like a kid who got caught accidentally pissing himself.
What is that stance?
I think Aang was trying to hand us a burrito or something.
You're a beta male, Sonic.
At this point, you might start making excuses for this trash and say something like, it was however many hours of show condensed into a single film. There's always going to be a lot left on the cutting room floor when you do that. It was never going to be good. Here's the thing. You could have remade the show, shot for shot, not changing a thing, using all the same scenes that were in the movie, and it would have been the same length and written way better. If M. Night wanted to make a faithful adaptation like people suggest he wanted to, he could have. He decided what to drop, what to keep, and what to change. And while making those decisions, he made a lot of bad calls. All emotion was cut, leaving 1 or 2 scenes where people actually react to the things that are happening around them, if you can call it that. And any scenes that didn't exclusively further the plot were thrown out the window, turning the rest of the movie into a list of bullet points being screamed in your face at breakneck speeds. But at the end of all of that, he had a bunch of empty space to fill with whatever he wanted. And what did he fill it with? Exposition. Not just badly written exposition either. Unneeded, unimportant, untrue exposition. All of which was stuff that we just learned about, stuff we didn't need to know, or stuff we're about to learn through a different scene filled with more exposition. Obviously, exposition isn't bad on its own. Sometimes you need to give your audience information directly, but a good writer is able to do that without making it sound like one of those AI written and voiced top 10 lists on YouTube. M. Night cut so much stuff out of this movie. I mean, he worked hard to trim this thing down to bare bones. And on top of that, it is hauling ass, my guy. He is saving time and cutting corners like his life depends on it. So why, after ruining or cutting the best and most important scenes in the show, did he then decide to add all of this?
Oh, good. We're gonna get Grand's exposition.
God, Grand's shitty explanation.
This
of
is
the
one of the
spirit
hardest
realm
parts
for
to get
no
through.
reason.
This is honestly one of the hardest parts of the movie to get through, like after multiple times.
In any scene where it's nothing but exposition and the scene only exists for exposition, and the problem is that's like 90% of the film.
Yeah, it is.
Once, a long time ago, the spirit world kept balance over us.
What is the spirit world, Grandma?
Well, it's not a place made up of things you can touch, but it exists nonetheless.
Is she the one explaining this? Old people, they're very old. They're going to die soon. They are very close to death, so they know a lot about the spirit realm. This movie is so adamant about being like, we need to cut things, we need to make time, we gotta save time, we've got too much shit, we've got hours and hours and hours of content to squeeze into this one movie. Let's take 5 minutes to have this old lady talk to us about the spirit world for no reason. Shouldn't somebody be telling this to Aang? Not these two? Like, why are they being told about the spirit realm?
She's not telling those two, she's telling us.
There's like huge jumps in time to the point that they have to do exposition to explain that there's been huge jumps in time. Like when the Sokka's with the princess at the Water Tribe, and she's like,
I've loved spending these weeks with you, Sokka.
Me too.
Sokka, these weeks that we have spent together have been so great. I hope nothing bad happens to either of us. Involves being murdered, or becoming the moon, or stabbing a fish. Then he goes, what? And then just cuts to the next scene.
This is Monkey Hanzo's. I made it for him.
Oh, hey, now we get to see Monchiazzo, and we get to see Aang gave it to him.
Yeah,
there we go. It confirms the story. Now we know he's not a liar.
Prince Zuko was sentenced to an Agni Ki duel.
He looks very upset. Zuko looks very upset about his backstory being told to him by some other character, almost as if he doesn't know it. Like this is the first time that he's heard it.
How many minutes of my life did I waste on this shit? How many? We haven't even talked about the narration yet.
Stanley was fat and ugly and really, really stupid.
Originally, I had plans to make this section more about Katara, but after going through my notes and trying to compile everything, I realized that there's really nothing to say. Katara hasn't been turned into a caricature of herself. Shyamalan didn't unironically write her like the Ember Island players. The problem is, every other character in this thing is a joke. Character assassinations and blatant lack of understanding galore, but Katara isn't that. She's a husk. Completely empty. There are characters done better and characters done dirtier, so she's easy to throw to the side and forget about. Her portrayal isn't going to piss you off. You will feel nothing about this character. It's as if she doesn't exist. And somehow, that makes it so much worse. Everything Katara does in this movie, she does because the script says that, yeah, I know it's been a while since she's done anything, so maybe it's about time she does something. It doesn't matter, literally anything. We've talked a lot about exposition already, but some of the most egregious instances of that comes from the narration, which is exclusively delivered to us by Katara. These segments are easily the worst parts of the movie, because when you're bouncing back and forth between narration and characters reiterating information, everything grinds to a halt and you get really bored really fast. I'm not going to go this in depth with every narration, and it might seem like I'm just stating the obvious here, but trust me, I have a point.
100 years ago, all was right with our world. Prosperity and peace filled our days.
M. Night takes 2 sentences to explain that things used to be peaceful, but aren't anymore, and we're not told why.
The 4 nations, water, earth, fire, and air nomads lived amongst each other in harmony. Great respect was afforded to all those who could bend their natural element.
He adds a sentence about how people who can bend are highly respected for being able to do so, but we're never shown this in the movie, we're just told it here.
The Avatar was the only person born amongst all the nations who could master all 4 elements. He was the only one who could communicate with the spirit world.
He establishes the Avatar and what they can do, but then adds another 2 sentences to bring up the spirit world, which is only here to set up the spirit dragon, which is trimmed so heavily that it should have been removed from the movie entirely, and the moon and ocean spirits, which already have their own exposition later in the movie.
And then 100 years ago, he just disappeared.
So what can we get out of this? We're given 8 sentences, and right off the bat, we can cut at least 4 of them. The whole point of doing something like this is to give the audience a shit ton of information very quickly. Usually you would avoid doing this unless the information is something that you really want your audience to know before jumping into the story. Since this is the only narration that was in the original, let's see how the show handled it.
My grandmother used to tell me stories about the old days, a time of peace.
We are told that the world used to be peaceful, and that this must have been some time ago because Katara tells us she got this information from stories that were told to her by her grandmother.
When the Avatar kept balance between the Water Tribes, Earth Kingdom, Fire Nation, and Air Nomads. But that all changed when the Fire Nation attacked. Only the Avatar mastered all 4 elements. Only he could stop the ruthless Firebenders. But when the world needed him most, he vanished.
She tells us what the Avatar is, what it can do, that they kept the peace, and how all that changed when one of those nations declared war on the rest of the world when the Avatar mysteriously disappeared.
100 years have passed, and the Fire Nation is nearing victory in the war. 2 years ago, my father and the men of my tribe journeyed to the Earth Kingdom to help fight against the Fire Nation, leaving me and my brother to look after our tribe.
We are told about the Fire Nation, the war, and the effect that that has had on Katara, her family, and her tribe.
Some people believe that the Avatar was never reborn into the Air Nomads and that the cycle is broken, but I haven't lost hope. I still believe that somehow, the Avatar will return to save the world.
We're taught about the Avatar cycle, how most people believe the cycle was broken, and how Katara holds out hope that the Avatar will someday return and save the world. 12 sentences, 4 more than the movie's 8. But Shyamalan isn't finished yet, because after we open from the title card, he goes in for another narration.
My brother and I live in the Southern Water Tribe, which was once a big city.
This is all unneeded.
Our father's off fighting in the war. My mother was taken prisoner and killed when I was young.
Without the information about the Fire Nation, her father going off to war and her mother being killed isn't necessary here, because this will all have to be explained again later anyway, and you're just taking away from an emotional scene that you could have in your movie later.
In this time of war, food is scarce. My brother and I often go hunting for food, but unfortunately my brother isn't the best hunter in the world.
Food being scarce never comes up in the movie again, so this is a waste. And on top of that, if you're not going to make resource scarcity relevant to the plot, then talking about hunting a lot could be cut as well. And finally, if you want to establish that Sokka is bad at hunting, you could have just shown us that, instead of immediately giving us a scene that feels less like we're being told Sokka's a bad hunter, and more like we're being told something strange is happening, and that's being solidified by someone who's the Rain Man of hunting.
I did everything Dad said to do. I watched what side of the fin tracks are more indented. That shows you which direction they're going. I saw how long the drag skids are. That shows you how fast they're going.
4 more sentences, 3 needing to be cut, and 1 needing some heavy rewrites. This takes about 2 minutes and 25 seconds in both the show and the movie. And the show is able to explain twice as much information and give us a better interaction between Katara and Sokka. Meanwhile, the movie raises questions that never get answered or changes a bunch of stuff about the world that never comes up again and is never shown to have any effect on the story whatsoever.
Aang flew us to his home. He told us how he left there in a storm on Appa and got forced into the ocean where they almost drowned. Aang airbended a sphere around them and ice formed, and he couldn't remember anything after that.
Exposition is written like it's an old man who's trying to explain what the plot of Avatar is. He's like, hey, put like an ice sphere around him, and then something happened. He don't remember anything else.
God, this one makes my brain hurt. We've been told all of this already in another scene also written and spoken by an alien.
The scroll we had was proving to be helpful. Aang was practicing, but for some reason, he was having trouble with waterbending. We moved from town to town in the Earth Kingdom. We tried to stay out of sight, but Sokka became concerned we were being followed.
Yes, Katara, thank you. I too am watching the movie. Also, listen to this music. It's like Aang is so pissed off that he can't waterbend that he's about to wear her skin like a suit.
We arrived at the Northern Water Tribe. We presented ourselves to the royal court. My brother and the princess became friends right away. Aang showed them he was the last airbender.
Katara, please, I promise, I'm watching the movie! I can't really explain it. It's like when you watch a boxing match and the guy's getting a clench, and maybe the first few times it happens, you're like, okay, all right, we get it. But after the 8th or 9th time, you just get pissed off. You are watching 2 people beat the ever-living Christ out of each other. An event that has excited people since the first dude met the second dude and the second dude was full of the piss. A pastime so adrenaline pumping that people pay thousands of dollars just to squint their eyes at something that sort of looks like a fight a few hundred feet away. And you're bored? What the We interrupt this special program for a word from our sponsors. Do a Crime.
If you guys are going to watch with us, you can watch it on Netflix or you can find it somewhere else. I'm not going to tell you what is and isn't legal. You do whatever you want.
Don't do illegal things.
I'm not sponsored by Twitch yet. I tell you guys should all go burn a house down or something.
Yeah, I think that's still illegal. Like whether Twitch allows us to do that or not, I think inciting arson and inciting violence is still illegal.
Tank Runner, fictional character. I'm telling you to go burn a house down. Individually, together. All of you have to get together.
All of the tonks gather together.
If one tonk is missing, it's not what I told you to do, and I will deny ever saying it.
How many tonks are there?
Someone doesn't cut this out of context.
The third challenge of the experiment was to attempt a whole viewing without speaking the name of any character. For the purposes of maintaining communication with the observation team, the subjects began creating code names that they could use in conversation.
Water Lady and Brain. They what were we calling them? Hippie Dad?
Hippie Dad.
Hippie Dad. And
Angry Boy.
Angry Boy? How do we just the ability in which we are able to just cut characters down to their core aspects is it's incredible.
So you don't want to be calling him boy.
What's Zuko? Oh no! Oh no! No! Oh, Ark, I'm so sorry. We didn't even make it 10 minutes in. Oh, do I get? Okay, anyone who's still in this stream, do I still get a mulligan?
Like, kids, how are they holding on that well? You really think they would go up to this, like, what do you think Appa weighs? 12 tons? Oh. I failed.
Oh, okay, well, hey guys, we made it. We made it past 10 minutes on that one.
I knew you were real.
I
knew you were real. always knew. I did.
I knew you were real.
I knew you were real. I always knew you'd return. I knew you were real. Shut up. It's the one time that you have to be quiet when he's meditating. Also, they made Azula like 10 years old.
I don't think she's as young as you think she looks.
I think she is.
I think she's somewhere between Aang and Zuko.
There's
I don't
no-
think that
there's
I
no
don't
way.
think she's as old as Zuko.
There's no way.
It's a 10-year-old girl though.
She's only supposed to be like a year behind Zuko.
I know
but-
that, but I'm
but-
saying that girl right there that we were just looking
She was
at is not
absolutely like
a
10 years old.
No.
Trying to eat me.
That's the only funny delivery in the whole movie. Delivered by boy. Brain. This scene doesn't even like feel like a movie. Makes sense?
If you had shown me this movie and told me that it was a fan-made...
Yes, that's
yeah,
100%. I'm with that. Yeah. I only have a certain amount of girls that can play characters who want to be in this movie with me that I record in my backyard. So you are going to play Katara.
Yeah.
That guy who fills up the Slurpee machines in the gas station, we'll make him Sokka, but I gotta pay him money so that he can live off gas station hot dogs for the rest of his life. Hippie dad is like a homeless man in a park that we pay in brewskis. Interrupt this special program to bring you the 13 Earthbenders throwing one tiny rock.
It's time for the 13 Earthbenders.
What's wrong? You really been distracted today.
Well, I've been really thinking a lot about boobies.
That's how you say boobies? Hey, I'm sorry, Katara. I've just been thinking about so many boobaroos.
It's like, well, I'm
only
like
11.
I'm turning like 11 now, and
I'm in a weird place in my life. Technically 111 years old, and I haven't seen not one boob.
Again, I offer my condolences on your nephew burning to death in that terrible accident.
Thank you.
this is the end of the scene.
If you're still looking for challenges, I suggest watching the next one at half speed. Go
Oh, way.
I believe that my life force will leave my body and return to the moon spirit.
That's crazy.
That sentence is still. I believe that my soul will go to the moon and I will die and everything will be fine. I'll bring this fish back to life. Only. Moon's back. We're unstoppable, and he just starts beating a man to death with his own fists.
To be fair, he is 70% water.
God damn it! All right, fine. We'll talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the
Fire Lord. My flame burns for thee.
We're working specific to general on this one because I have very little to say about these characters and have a lot to say about M. Night doing his best Eric Andre impression with some of the best world building ever conceived.
Who killed
The Avatar.
Azula speaks 3 words in this movie. I don't have time for this shit. I only have 2 things to talk about here. First off, Ozai has 5 scenes. The first 3 introduce him like this.
Father.
Sire, I have good news.
Seems pretty good, yeah? Not showing his face, filming him from high angles, some pretty intimidating insert shots. Then when we finally see his face, he emerges from the shadows. This shot could have been better. He sort of just seems like some guy here, but I have to say, overall, it's not half bad. Oh, whoops, these are all out of order. This is the first time we see the followed by this and then this. What the f is happening? The other thing I want to say is that the Ozai and Zhao scenes are handled so poorly that I really can't bring myself to talk about them. I don't want to keep beating a dead horse here, but if you're worried about the length of your movie, so you add in some exposition to save time, but then write in multiple scenes where characters sail across the world to discuss the same topic in person 3 or 4 times, you've made a terrible mistake somewhere. Please start over. Zuko is trying his best here, and you can tell that if this were anything else, he could cook, but taking bad dialogue and acting direction from a cephalopod pretending to be a human while having no idea what the is going on or the order in which anything is happening and turning all of that into gold is a really difficult skill that very few actors have. I mean, shit, we only have one person churning out gold here, and it's because he saw the writing on the wall and just started chewing scenery. I have more things I want to talk about that involve Zuko, but they make up their own section later on in the video. So for now, I'm just going to leave you with this.
Zuko just suddenly out of nowhere is like, oh, is that gas leak? Oh, shit. And it's like blowing directly onto an open flame.
In this military vessel, did no one confirm that he was dead by seeing his body at all? They just
apparently not.
Iroh comes across as more of an awkward stepdad or like an annoying secretary, and I think that might be because M. Night couldn't write something that sounded even remotely insightful without it coming across as some fake pseudo-intellectual bullshit that we're supposed to roll our eyes at. So he just decided to lean into that.
Miraculously, every time that Uncle Hippie Dad shows up onto the screen, we both sort of get quiet and just listen to what he has to say. So he still has that like demanding presence, but at the same time, it's like the exact opposite reason. It's not like you respect him and you want to hear what he has to say. It's like, God, shut the f up. Just get out of here. Can we skip to the next scene?
Yeah, I never thought that I'd be at the point of like, yeah, Iroh.
That's true. The movie has made us hate him.
Yeah.
Iroh lacks all charisma, to the point that even when M. Night accidentally writes a line that sounds like something Iroh would say, it feels like someone's out-of-touch dad trying to be relatable to his son, but by doing or saying something really weird and gross.
Don't. That's a very... Don't. Not...
Anything you do to that spirit, I will
unleash on you tenfold. Such a powerful lock. Yeah, we had it locked in the back of our brain. Yeah.
Zuko and Uncle Iroh's relationship feels non-existent, or at least stunted. And part of me wonders if that's less about the bad writing and direction and more because having characters who contrast and disagree this much while still somehow having a strong and believable relationship is just really hard to write. I'm not going easy on Shyamalan here, but it's times like this that really show how good the original writing was.
Zhao has no sacredness. Are you sure you want to be here? I will not be allowed to live in peace until I bring the Avatar to my father. Is that not clear to you?
As far as I know, one of these people is the only person in the entire movie who can actually firebend, because Shyamalan was given the opportunity to make $1 bazillion if he just sat in a chair, and after thinking a long time about what was the best way to sit in a chair, he promptly stood up and jumped out the window.
He's very angry. Yeah.
He's making fire out of nothing.
You hear them? He's making fire out of nothing. And they ran away because it was terrifying to them.
And that seems crazy, right? Taking the one thing that your entire story banks on, having a powerful and dangerous enemy, and just fully neutering them for no reason. It can't be true, right? That would be crazy, right? I must be over-exaggerating, right? That would be crazy, right?
Why are we still here? Just to suffer?
Making an Avatar movie should not have been a hard thing to do. All Shyamalan had to do was not make every wrong decision, and he'd be sitting at the end of a trilogy by now. But here we are, talking about how the movie with bending doesn't have any bending in it. That's not completely true. There is some bending. 85 bends to be unnecessarily precise. And that might seem like a lot. In a movie with a runtime of 1.5 hours, if you cut everything that isn't footage, that's almost 1 bend per minute. But I counted every individual bend, and I was overly generous with what counted. That was 18 of them in about 1 minute. All those little woo-doo-doos at the end of Aang's stick, that is what counts as bending here. So again, there's not nearly as much bending as you'd expect. I mean, there's an invasion scene at the end of this thing, a massive battle between water and firebenders. What's that look like? M. Night decided in his version of the story that firebenders require an open flame and shouldn't be able to make fire out of nothing. I cannot express to all of you how much damage this does to the movie and the world it takes place in. No, I'm serious. After this change, the tension is gone. You're making a war movie where you keep telling us your villain is a huge global threat, but you aren't showing us that. In fact, you're going out of your way to alter the story in all the ways that make us question how all the things you're telling us could possibly be true. So why did he change it? A lot of you might say budget. Maybe having CGI fire flying around everywhere was going to become pretty expensive by the end of it. But I call bullshit. Anyone with a passing knowledge of special effects knows how cheap and easy it is to make fake fire if you know what you're doing. And by the looks of the other elements on display here, the CGI department absolutely did. So maybe he thought it didn't make sense to require the element for all benders except firebenders. Because he was on this realism kick, he wanted to try and add rules and make things more uniform. What he did not understand was that even though it was never brought up directly in the show, the firebenders being able to create fire was a huge part of why they were able to do the things that they did. Fire is destructive. That's like its main thing. We as people figured out how to control it, and now if we're careful, we can use it to create. This is why the Fire Nation is shown to be industrious. They have everything they need to create in a way unlike any other nation and have an unlimited fuel source to do so. A decent chunk of the Fire Nation soldiers could firebend, because if you could firebend, they wanted you on the front lines of their war. The standard grunt had metal armor pieces, which was extraordinarily rare in other nations. They were able to smith all of the weapons and warships they could ever want. And even though they had some outside help designing them, they eventually got to the point where they were making tanks and zeppelins on a assembly line. Most of their massive machines were powered by firebenders, allowing them to fight on a scale that other people just couldn't. They were an unrelenting enemy. Their biggest strength was their ability to play the long game, and that's exactly what they did. When Aang reappears, he meets a world that's fractured. The people are tired and afraid, unwilling to fight back against the Fire Nation because all they've known for potentially 2 or 3 generations is fighting an uphill battle. Finding a place without the Fire Nation was a struggle. The biggest continent in the world had been invaded and was covered in soldiers whose whole job was to take control of small government and to stomp out any resistance left in anyone who wasn't a refugee yet. So when M. Night makes his first decision to require that firebenders have a fire source, 2 things happen. If the Fire Nation is still arming all of their soldiers and building all of these warships on the same scale, all of the firebenders would have to stay home or work under deck, which then makes firebenders the rarest type of bender, second only to the type that's about to go extinct. That leaves their army to be made up almost exclusively with just basic foot soldiers. The Fire Nation has been fighting a war against benders for 100 years and is supposedly winning. So their military needs to be highly trained, but M. Night's next decision is to make them all confusingly worthless. And I mean that in both ways. Like, it makes no sense to me that you would make them this incompetent, but also, like, I don't know what you're trying to tell me about these guys because you're giving me conflicting information. They're scary. They're not. They're dangerous. They're not. They're unstoppable. They're not. The show would do this too, because it was still trying to be entertaining, but it never conflicted with the tone that they were trying to set at the time. And never to the point that I started questioning how any of this shit could happen in the first place. I mean, Jesus Christ, the movie can't even make up its mind on whether or not the fire source disappears after it's used. The labor camp is probably the worst of the bunch. The Fire Nation is able to capture and detain almost 100 Earthbenders. The movie tries to tell us that they haven't escaped yet because they're afraid of what will happen if they try. But the reason this works in the show is because the Earthbenders were brought out into the middle of the ocean on a metal ship, and with no way to fight back, their spirit was broken. In the movie, they're sitting in a quarry with only 2 firebenders standing between them and freedom. I'm not even talking about the emotions of the scene anymore. How did all of these soldiers capture this many Earthbenders, even over a long period of time, if one airbender and a guy with a boomerang was enough to take over the whole camp? No, Katara didn't help, unless you count this.
Don't be afraid.
I'm not
afraid. I'm not scared anymore.
And only one of the Fire Nation soldiers was taken out by an Earthbender. It was one of the 2 firebenders. It was the only time they attacked and it lawn-chaired the guy. M. Night took a bunch of power away from the Fire Nation, didn't come up with any new or interesting ways to explain their stranglehold on the world, and just expected us to accept that they'd still be an unstoppable force while giving us nothing but reasons to believe that this war should have ended a long time ago.
Even a waterbender, she can throw her water and then pick the water back up and throw it again and pick the water back up and throw it again.
Yeah.
The fire's the only one. It's like the weakest element out of all of them. How is it conquering anything?
During this torture, me and Ark were able to come up with a bunch of ideas to make the Fire Nation imposing, while still keeping within the weird rules of how M. Night wanted their bending to work. Imagine this. You're standing in the Northern Water Tribe when ash begins to fall from the sky. Fire Nation warships are sailing over the horizon. They'll be on the city by nightfall. Massive chunks of wood, metal, and stone, doused in oil and set ablaze, are launched from the ships and down onto the homes inside. Everyone begins to panic. Civilians run from the streets trying to get home to their families. You and a few other waterbenders are able to put out most of the flames before the first ship arrives outside. Several firebenders channel flame into a cannon, releasing a never-ending bout that slowly burns a perfect hole through your city's only means of defense. The steam clears, and emerging from the hole are several soldiers mounted on giant creatures that you have never seen before. This small cavalry is able to push you back, making room for the first wave of foot soldiers. A front line of men with swords and spears coated in fire rush into the courtyard and secure a few of the locations where their mortars had landed. 2 men advance from the back. They hold no weapons. They're covered in metal armor and Fire Nation regalia made of thick leathers. They need fire to bend, and you made sure to leave them none of it. But the firebenders reach into a pouch and pull out glass jars corked with a ball of fabric. They hold the top of the flask against a metal ring on their finger and drag it across their belt. The spark is small, but enough to ignite the rag. They throw the flasks and the glass shatters, spraying fire across the courtyard. The firebenders, now with a large bonfire to pull from, begin hurling fireballs. The waterbenders with you prioritize fighting the benders and just keep their distance from the armed men, but they don't notice when the foot soldiers begin throwing flasks of their own. The substance is thicker. Those who lose focus and are caught with a stray splash are targeted by the benders immediately. Water doesn't help. The gel just spreads. You've never seen fire move like water before. The second wave enters. Out steps a behemoth of a man. He holds a war drum in front of him. Strapped to his back is a small furnace. A group of soldiers carrying Fire Nation banners accompany the man. At the top of the poles sit braziers that they dip into the furnace. The man begins to play the drum and they all march forward in unison. The firebenders pull from the flame bearers and now, certain that they will not run out of flame again, make another push deeper into the city. There's too many of them, but you only have to hold out a little while longer. The moon will be at its brightest soon, and even though you're outnumbered, you'll be able to hold them off. And then, the sky goes red. Your connection to the water disappears. You are no longer able to bend. That's when you hear it. Over the fighting, you hear short but loud bursts of fire. Up over the side of the wall, you see thin, skin-like material pulled taut. A few dozen war balloons sail up into the air and begin pouring vats of oil down over the city. If this much oil were to burn, the city would fall. Even with traditional weapons, there's no fighting back. After 100 years of waging war against the rest of the world and winning, these soldiers are like machines. The last thing you saw before fighting your way into the palace were weighted nets, set ablaze, and tossed from the war balloons. Screams echo through the dark as your people are entangled and forced to burn alive. This is just some of the stuff we came up with, and we're just 2 assholes shooting the shit while watching a bad movie. What's Shyamalan's excuse? There's even cooler ideas if you're willing to put in the effort to establish how industrious the Fire Nation is, instead of putting one lawnmower cosplaying as a tank in the background and calling it a day. Even though there are more than 12 hours still remaining in the experiment, the subjects are still capable of feigning half-hearted interest on behalf of the observation team.
Okay, we did it. We hit the credits. We did it again.
We did it again.
Did it
for the 3rd time.
Let's go.
As you can see, we are 5.5 hours in, and morale is still high enough to allow minor celebrations at the end of every viewing. How much longer they'll be able to keep up this facade is anyone's guess. Another viewing, another challenge. This go around, the subjects attempted to remove all swearing from their vocabulary, a task that Subject 2 felt confident they would complete.
It's an easier challenge because it's only an hour and 20 minutes instead of the hour 40 minutes.
Yeah, there's no reason. It's worthless. It's like everything else in this film. Did I say right, I'm sorry. That's my mulligan.
One mulligan.
If we fail again, it's done. We're starting again. Boom. Here we go. I got my mulligan.
No swearing.
No swearing.
None.
None at all. For the next hour and 20 minutes, no swearing coming out of my mouth. This guy's like 8-ball, corner pocket, your chest cavity.
I don't know what the hell these 13 novices did to raise this rock, but sure, I'll launch it into your...
Doesn't matter. I did it too, like maybe 4 seconds before you did. We both did it. So we failed again.
Both failed. Blinding edge pictures. Well, I'm surely blinded.
I'd rather be blind. Watch this movie.
That's so bad.
Katara, do not hit that spear!
Every time, I can't stop. Katara, do not hit that spear! The office. Oh! He's so fucking...
Water teaches us acceptance.
Water teaches us acceptance. Says the man who's like, "Bitch, get back to the kitchen. You're not allowed to water bend." Oh shit, I missed the first part of her thing again.
Yeah,
Son
guess
of a
we'll
bitch.
have to try again in 2 hours.
Yeah, I guess in 2 hours I'll just watch it again. I don't want to be here. Oh, it's fine.
Can you guys
Everything's fine.
believe how rude Tank Runner is? He comes to my house and then does nothing but complain about how he doesn't want to be at my house the entire time. I invite him over to watch one goddamn movie. And
Just
you know
one,
what?
just one movie. Yeah, I just want to watch one movie with
10
you.
times, and he just does nothing but complain the entire time.
How many people do you think would notice if we suddenly change the watch number to 6? When he melts the ice in his hands and comes back up and he does like the Terminator thing, right? He reaches up out of the thing and then he grabs his other arm up there and both of his arms are out of the hole. The hole is not big enough for him to come up out of. Oh,
no,
I don't know why he's done this.
The ice is so thin that once he gets his hands up there, he can just rip it apart
with his armpit.
Yeah,
he can just...
we're a team.
We're a team.
We're a team.
We're in this.
We're
not
all
competing
in this
together. Oh,
I like the idea. I like the idea of
basketball.
What are you saying?
What the fuck is it called? The basketball Disney sex movie. What's it called? High School Musical.
Devil popped up right now. And off you just like,
I'll let you out of here
right now. If kill the other person.
Oh no!
There you go. See, he's trying to turn us against each other.
Oh no, that sucks. I'm so sorry.
Or no, sorry. I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry. And then as soon as she dies like that, just immediately play the Grand Theft Auto. Wasted.
What?
His eyes literally turn red with anger. Now I can't not see it. So he's very much Nandor. Like in that last scene, he's just standing there super awkwardly with his cape. The day is saved. The fish is back alive, and this princess is dead.
Wait. Oh no! The moon.
Oh no!
Now they can waterbend.
The water bending is back. Come here, you mother! I'm gonna you.
If we die, it's kind of your fault.
The Avatar, where have you been?
This dragon serves no purpose in the movie other than to tell Aang to go to the Northern Water Tribe, which could have been easily done some other way. You just saw the dragon's first scene. No, yeah, that was all of it.
I have seen a vision of the moon turning red. The Fire Nation has stolen knowledge of us from the Great Library. You must go to the Northern Water Tribe.
Originally, Aang was taught a lot about how to be the Avatar and how to interact with the spirit world through Roku, the last Avatar before Aang. Aang found a way to speak to him with the help of a spirit he met that happened to be Roku's dragon when he was alive. This has all been cut from the movie.
Aang needs to ask you something.
I
have to talk to the Dragon Spirit. He can help me defeat the Fire Nation.
This comes out of nowhere, by the way. Aang has no reason to think this. Even the script can't think of a reason that this scene needs to happen. But here we are, the final scene with the dragon and the actual reason for this section.
You are not dealing with the loss of your people and your responsibility for their deaths.
Sorry, hold on.
In the movie, the spirit dragon that isn't Roku or Roku's dragon, just a random dragon that we know nothing about and has no connection to Aang, tells him that everything is his fault and that he is solely responsible for the Air Nomads' genocide.
I know he's the Avatar, but like there's only so much he could have done. Because obviously, if those other Airbenders couldn't have stopped the Fire Nation, like if it was that big of a force that attacked them, Avatar couldn't have done anything.
He was the Avatar, he could have stopped them. Being the Avatar doesn't make you stronger than other benders. It gives you the ability to bend all of the elements, something the Avatar masters over years of training, something Aang did not have. On top of that, the attack on the Southern Air Temple was during Sozin's Comet. There was no winning that fight. Aang would have died, or best case scenario, would have been one of the very few people left. Even if you still want to blame him for not being around for 100 years to stop the Fire Nation, Aang didn't plan to be frozen in ice. We don't even know how long he would have ran away. For all we know, he could have blown off some steam, dealt with his feelings, and came back the next day.
I ran away, and then they needed me and I wasn't there, and then they died. He had a responsibility that he was not ready for, which is fine, that's reasonable. At some point, people told him that it wasn't his fault, but it was now time for him to make up for that. Yeah, it took him a while to figure that out. In this one, it's like literally like the dragon who is apparently the stand-in for Roku is like, listen, you need to deal with the fact that everyone's dead and it's all your fault. And it's like, Jesus Christ, that's a heavy thing to throw on a kid.
Yeah.
Especially when it's not even really true.
This is nuts. If you wanted a reason to hate on Aang, or you want someone to call him and his actions into question, you could easily do that, because in this movie,
are we the baddies?
Aang hates the Fire Nation before he has a reason to hate them. Even in a situation where he would normally try and talk things out, he immediately treats them as if they're irredeemable. He knows nothing about them. He doesn't know about the war. He doesn't even know about the fact that they murdered all of his people. He doesn't learn more about what they're doing or why. He hunts and kills only them, and he immediately believes all the negative things that are said about the only brown people in the entire movie. Tank, you may say. You are overreacting. I think you might be what me and the other fellows down at the country club call a tiny little snowflake cockboy. I did not understand comedy until told by a man with a big chin and no forehead that a joke will only become funny once someone points out all of the people who will be upset by it. Raspberry fart sound, etc., etc. The idea that M. Night took a character like Aang, who's a kind, peaceful child, and turned him into a racist serial killer is so funny to me.
You want to go penguin sledding with me? That's what you should say. You should wake up and you should dance and you should be happy. You should be a happy little kid instead of like this weird Tim Burton Aang that we get. How many times could you count on, probably on one hand, right? The amount of times that Aang in the series fought in anger or like screamed in anger or like grunted aggressively.
You're right.
Very minor. You can count them on one hand.
Aang kills a lot of people in this movie, which makes the rare moments where he is Aang adjacent feel very Dennis caught on CCTV footage.
See, if he was more like Aang, not like lunatic serial killer who's on the loose killing everybody, I would laugh at that. I would go, ha ha ha, Aang did like a backflip and he bounced his head off the top of that barrel. That's such an Aang thing to do.
Yeah.
When it's Aang, he's a little psychopath. So when he does shit like that, I'm like, man, he really doesn't care about all the lives he's taking, does he?
As the Avatar, you are not meant to hurt others. Use the ocean. Show them the power of water.
You are not meant to hurt people. Use the ocean to brutally murder them instead. It will be painless.
Hope is beginning to dwindle for the subjects, but Subject 1 continues to hold strong to his beliefs. They're the only thing he has left now.
That being said, I'm about 25% regretting this decision. There's still a little bit of me that's going to be stubborn about it. Oh no, would you rather watch all of Korra or a porno with your parents? I guess I'm watching Korra. I still had to think about it. Yeah. But it's definitely Korra.
The challenge for viewing 5 is a bit more involved than the previous. Before the viewing, the subjects each selected a number. They would then count every time they both agreed that they had just witnessed a death on screen. If the total at the end of the viewing was the same as the number they selected, or no further than 3 away, they would win.
Your number that you picked? Change it again before we start? This is your last chance.
I had picked 17. I'm going to change that to 23, plus or minus 3.
20 to 26 range is what you want.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with a slightly higher range. So my guess is going to be 35.
Because of the nature of this challenge, there would be no resets and no opportunity to remove shots from their debt.
10 may or may not be the limit of the human body.
Tiny stone.
There it is, boys. Yeah.
So is this guy dead? Is that guy dead?
I don't know. He got hit in the chest. He might be okay.
Let's see if he's
he's
still on the ground. He's dead. That's
He's
one.
not moving.
That's one.
That guy's dead.
Is that guy dead? I just heard sword swinging noises.
Yeah, no.
At least one.
Instead of counting all 3 of them, what if we count 2? 1 for the third guy and a half for the 2 that were hanging. We just say that was 2 deaths. Those guys are still hanging there.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes me think even. And look at him. He's like, holy shit.
What about those 2 guys that just got blown the away?
All right, so now we got to pay attention.
They're still on the ground. They're dead. They're dead. They're dead. 2 deaths.
Oh, those guys are just lying on the ground?
They got blown. They ran into the doorway and got
they're
blown
just
back like
laying there.
all the way down the steps.
Off the steps.
Yes.
Yeah, no, that's
dead. Did that guy just get slashed? I heard
sure
slashing
does look
noise.
like he got cut. Aerial view. Oh my god, there were so many dead bodies on the ground.
That guy landed on his feet.
Oh, that guy's dead. That guy took 2 sword swings and then got kicked away. I think he's dead.
Okay.
Paying attention to what these guys are doing.
There's one dead body.
There's one body.
That guy's absolutely dead.
This guy he $1 million babies himself on those stairs. That's
that
3
guy's dead.
All right, so we counted at least 4 there. Oh my god, there's
dead
so
now.
many bodies.
Do we want to count all those
1,
bodies?
2,
Or we didn't see them?
3.
That person just
4,
died there. That's
5.
1. Are we counting those 5 that were already dead?
We'll talk about it here in a second. I just want to make sure that I count them all. All right, so there's
one in the background there.
Yeah, I
too.
saw 7 total, but those 2 in the background were in a spot where they were before, so I feel like we shouldn't count those ones.
Okay.
So I feel like we should count the 5.
She just kind
sacrifices
of floats.
herself.
Yeah, but she just kind of floats into the water.
Yeah, she
And
sacrifices
like bursts into
herself.
light.
Yeah,
Yes?
and all of her hair goes to the fish, and the fish comes back to life.
Okay.
Hey. She willingly gave her life to the fish, and that's all that needed to be done.
Can't the fish go give her back some life now? Is this like Horcruxes? The fish made a Horcrux?
It's like,
Oh, that guy.
this guy's dead.
That guy's dead.
That guy's dead.
It's air.
Okay, wait, I forgot
It's like
about
the
this
air
part.
thing they did. Oh, we forgot. We forgot
This-
this.
Yeah, so we need to.
Hang on. Dead?
Oh, that guy.
Dead?
That guy in the back just died.
Yeah, absolutely.
One of those guys is dead.
Dead.
So that's 2.
Dead?
AB on that one. That one's a little iffy. Sure, 3.
Okay.
Slammed into the.
That dead?
That guy got thrown off. Money, no whammies. Oh, that guy might be. AB. There was no guys on the other side, so yeah, I guess the wave must have hit them. Oh my god, those guys!
Our researchers have done a post-mortem to verify the test, and although they were able to add an additional 8 deaths to the official count, the results of the challenge remain the same.
Oh, wait.
That's our only
M. Night
saving grace.
Shyamalan has murdered this
Murdered
movie.
his career.
Yeah, he died from this movie.
Katara, do not hit that spear!
I'm gonna do it anyway.
You tell me what to
The Fire Nation doesn't wish to live by the spirits. That's why they are so frightened by the existence of the Avatar.
What could he do?
With his mastery of the 4 elements, he will begin to change hearts.
Grow up, Gran.
Yeah, he'll start to change hearts. Also, he'll be a massive super killing force that, you know, can win a war single-handedly. So that's a bonus.
He will use his power of understanding all of the elements to convince everyone that he's right under penalty of death. Thanks, Gran.
That sounds useful, Gran. We could use that in a war right now.
But Sokka and I can be with you as long as you need.
Sokka and I can be with you forever. We can have a weird threesome.
Don't give up. What?
Oh! I wonder who the voice actor for that was.
Those who could not bend were allowed to live in peace if we were imprisoned.
They just said that we were in prison because we're earthbenders. So every single
wall,
you outnumbered your guards by like 30-1 with all benders on one side and people that don't bend fire on the other side.
Yeah, numbers don't matter because they need 10 people to bend one rock.
My brother and the princess
She's like, ooh, look at that hot stud. I bet he doesn't think very much and I can just kind of do whatever I want with him.
I bet he has a brain. Me too. Allow me to throw this diaper on the ground and then I'm gonna you up.
And we're gonna see he drops a torch right on the diaper.
Yeah. See what
I know he
happens
doesn't.
here.
He just drops it right there.
Yeah.
Immediately. Did you not notice that?
The fire. Well, no, I knew that. Like all he did was there's this huge fire, right? Yeah. But he puts the torch down, right, and the fire immediately goes. Whoa. Then it cuts back to her, and she goes, "Oh shit!" And then it cuts back to him. Now there is fire all around him.
Yeah. Oh my God, boobies.
Oh me, Jonah Hill.
There he is. There he is.
In M. Night Shyamalan's brain, he was like, "Well, we need all 3 of the main characters to feel like equally important and relevant." So
what did Sokka,
she'll be the waterbender.
Oh yeah.
Aang will be the airbender, and Sokka will be the. And then he like fell asleep or something on the keyboard.
Yeah.
Appa should just eat a guy. Wouldn't that be great?
It's time we show the Fire Nation that we believe in our beliefs as much as they believe in theirs.
What?
Yeah, there's like,
balls,
like 100.
the massive heaping balls on this old man. Pull a knife on the Avatar.
3-inch knife. He didn't even have to do that.
Call an ambulance, but not for me.
Admiral Zhao devises a plan to catch Aang that involves this old man. Let's go through the whole thing step by step. Step 1, find the Avatar and figure out where he's going. Step 2, leave soldiers hidden in certain locations. Step 3, pay an Earth Nation citizen to lead the Avatar into a trap. Step 4, capture the Avatar. Okay, so now let's talk about why this plan is overly complicated and only works because everyone involved got their head caved in with a brick. The air temples are almost impossible to get to without the ability to fly. From Aang's perspective, no one should be here except air nomads. So when he shows up and sees massive metal structures and Fire Nation symbols all over the place, he should be cautious of what he's about to walk into. Admiral Zhao pays an old man to lead Aang into a trap, but it's not like he needed the old man to keep Aang busy long enough for the soldiers to arrive or to lead Aang to the temple. He was already all over that temple by the time the old man got to him, and the soldiers were not only already stationed there, but they had enough time to pull this cheeky shit. Look at this! Every statue has a guy behind it. Aang would have absolutely found his way into the inner chamber of this temple and stumbled right into the trap. Sending in the old man when they did does nothing but give Aang every reason to be super suspicious. You're an old man who lives out here all by himself, taking care of a destroyed temple that looks like an active Fire Nation fortress, and you want to show me something wicked cool in the back room that only you know about.
Hello, little boy. Follow me to my chamber of secrets.
Yeah, follow me to this dark chamber that no one is in.
So no one's been in it for a while.
It doesn't make me believe he's like naive, but he does make me believe that he's just really stupid. Like he's just like.
But you gotta be smart when you can kill anyone that you want
Right,
at
that's
any
what I'm saying.
moment.
But yeah, like 4-inch knife.
Taste steel, motherfucker.
Aang gets captured by Zhao, everything's going according to plan, but then Zuko, in disguise, shows up to free him, and they fight their way out of the complex.
Look at all these people. Jesus. Like, seriously, right now, what are all of these people doing? The other guy, Blue Spirit, is just a dude with a sword. And there are literally hundreds of soldiers.
We see these two kill so many people, and Aang can only keep up in this fight because of his bending. But this is now the second time we're shown that Zuko can fight without his bending. Remember this for later.
I have lived in poverty because of your absence, Avatar. So you will understand my actions today.
They just wanted to explain why he was greedy.
Oh, we gotta explain why he would do something for money.
Right, yeah.
Wow, this Zhao character has had some really bad luck so far in this movie. I sure hope he's able to turn things around.
Hello, how are you? I am under the water. Please help me.
He gives the worst exposition and is barely in the movie, but Admiral Zhao is the best character in this dumpster fire. He's nothing like he is in the show, so if you're here for a faithful recreation of Zhao, you're gonna have a bad time. But if you've come to terms with the fact that this is not an Avatar movie, this character will bring so much joy to you as he seemingly rains hellfire down on the rest of the movie as retribution on your behalf.
Your failure in the 100-day siege of Ba Sing Se won't be held against you. Your son died in that siege, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Again, I offer my condolences on your nephew burning to death in that terrible accident.
Thank you.
Best line, hands down. I'm sure all of you have experienced a character that you love to hate. They're so unapologetically awful that you can't wait for them to get what they deserve, but they're also one of the best parts of the story they're in. These kinds of characters can be hard to make happen. It's not just about making a hateable person. You need to keep them around long enough to build tension, to keep your audience coming back for more, hoping to see them get their comeuppance, but not let them overstay their welcome. It's a thin line to walk, but this is different.
It seems I need to remind Prince Zuko that during his banishment, he is an enemy of the Fire Nation and is not allowed to wear the Fire Nation uniform. But we will let him wear it today, like a child wearing a costume.
Zhao is portrayed as the kind of person that I despise most in this world, but I wanted nothing more than to watch this smug, pretentious, passive-aggressive, condescending do the Dougie all over the shallow graves of every other motherfucker in this movie. His best scene, and coincidentally the best M. Night can do, is this short moment we get when Zhao interrogates Aang.
My name is Commander Zhao. I set this trap for you. Don't worry, I'm not gonna kill you. Besides, you'd just be reborn again, and then the search would continue. So where have you been all this time? And how is it that you're still a boy? I understand that when you freed that handful of towns, you were very impressive, but you only used airbending against my soldiers. Now, why is that?
I genuinely question whether M. Night wrote this. Information is given to us casually, and this scene is mostly the opposite of exposition. As we listen to Zhao pry for answers to questions we already know, we get to see a glimmer of thought and character that feels like it comes from him instead of the script. It's good stuff.
This guy dies.
He does.
A little prematurely, but we all know what's going to happen.
I don't know what's happening. We've seen this 5 times already.
Today.
Nothing good lasts forever, and it's the same for our boy here. After the invasion fails, Zhao and Zuko run into each other and are about to fight when Iroh shows up to shut that shit down real quick. Then Iroh says this.
You stand alone, and that has always been your great mistake.
And then, as if by magic, 4 waterbenders show up to make Iroh correct about this weirdly out-of-place thing he just said. But don't worry, this is Admiral Zhao. He's about to absolutely ruin these well, I'm sure that... Oh my god! No, this is just a setback. I'm sure we're fine. Our guy's gonna come out here... Jesus. Zhao is brutally drowned to death on screen. And they don't cut away either. We watch the whole thing. In the show, Zhao's death really isn't caused by anyone but himself. The only reason he gets nabbed is because the ocean spirit has justifiable beef, and when Zuko goes to help him, Zhao thinks about it and then refuses. He chooses death. His pride kills him. But in this, 4 guys decide to put him down in the streets like a dog. I'm not a stickler for age ratings, but this seems buck wild to me. This movie is PG, and the thing that keeps it from being PG-13 is that the violence is apparently not graphic or intense enough. Hey MPA, how long do you need to watch a man struggle and suffocate before it counts as graphic?
It's really weird because on the show, the average age was like 9 years old. My child was 9 years old. So you could make it one of 2 ways. You could make it for the same audience, which is what I did for 9 and 10-year-olds, or you could do the Transformers version and have Megan Fox. I didn't do that.
While we're here, might as well hit up the parental guidance section of IMDb just to cover our bases. Sex and nudity. Scene of young adult girl and boy kissing each other. Aang is sometimes shirtless in the movie, and Katara stares at him when he's shirtless. I'm a man of my words? What the f does that mean? Alcohol, drugs, and smoking. Commander Zhao and others hold up a toast, and we don't know the content of their mugs. Violence and gore. A girl performs water bending. She controls water in the shape of a ball and it hits her brother. We see his reaction as he gets wet. Zuko has half of his face burnt. Stylized fantasy violence involving the artistic dance routine sequences. Guy gets cut in half? Frightening and intense scenes. Here we go. In a flashback, a character is shown being attacked and set on fire briefly by his father. We actually don't see that. We see the reaction to it, but okay. A major character sacrifices herself for her spirit of origin. That's it? They don't even mention it? Me, I feel like I'm taking crazy pills!
Rowe told him that his main fault was that he always fought alone, and everyone here is specifically under his command.
Yeah.
This is his army exclusively.
Yeah. But he always fights alone.
He always fights alone. You see all those millions of people right there? They don't count.
Why did it have to be 4?
Prove the fact that he doesn't fight with friends, and he always fights alone, and that is his major downfall that Iro just told us 3 seconds ago. Ark, really? We're on our 4th viewing. You need to pay more attention.
Look at that dead body.
That's a dead body. Hey, kids, look at that. Family-friendly fun. Dead body. There it is, right there.
I like that he takes everything off. He's like, all right, let's do this then. And then immediately does not throw any other attack.
Look at those arms. Oh, God.
How hard do you think it would be to get that shot?
They run away. They're like, okay, and they jog away.
Yep.
Like they were NPCs in Guild Wars and they just killed just a random mob and now they're running back to town. Everything's all mixed up in my brain. I've lost complete control. I don't know anymore. Anything that happened, I don't remember, and anything that doesn't happen, I'm not sure if it did or didn't happen. Knows that this man gets drowned to death by 4 other men, and then they jog off after it's done.
Do you know that? Do you want to watch and confirm?
Inspired by the previous challenge, Challenge 6 involves the subjects guessing how many times bending is shown in the film.
Do we count these as like times bending? No?
No, this is the intro
Seeing
scene.
bending though.
Yeah, but that's not part of the movie. It's just...
Isn't it?
No, it's the intro scene. Like, if somebody died here, we wouldn't have counted it as dying during the movie. I'm keeping a rough track. We're missing a lot of...
When I was going to guess a number, I was legitimately going to say 10.
Yeah.
We're now double that number. Maybe we should try counting the bendings next time. The drinking is just making it difficult.
Yes.
89 bends in total, if you count the intro as being part of the film, which you definitely should because it's literally part of the film. The subjects were under the impression that consuming alcohol would only ease the burden of the experiment. Sitting down, relaxing, just having a couple bevies with the boys. What they were unaware of was that our researchers introduced this variable as a means to make the subjects level 7 susceptible to the film's effects. Resisting is useless, it only wastes time. The subjects exceeded our expectations when, after each paying their 4-shot debt in full, started playing a game where they were to drink every time a meme or anchor appeared on screen.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Hey, quit that shit. You don't want to start another meme before the next watch. You keep your mouth shut.
Do not hit that sphere. Click. Click.
Oh, I guess that is one drink.
Drink.
I wonder if there's anything in that energy drink that shouldn't be blended with
Yes,
alcohol.
Absolutely. Very bad. You can have a heart attack from it.
Guys, heart attacks. Seems like a good way to go, right? If I got to pick a way to get get out of this hell, going out into the street and getting hit by a car is pretty rough.
Yeah. I do have a poker. Fire poker.
So I'm gonna brain myself to death if I can't beat myself to death to completion. Jesus Christ, does Grand's weird spirit world conversation count at this point? Because we've been so upset about it. Who are you? What's your name?
What's your name?
I need to. Oh, no, stop! You're making more memes. Shut your whore mouth.
Chat, help me create more memes.
Oh,
help me create more memes, chat.
No. Push drink again. Oh no, drink me to death. We're going to die, and it's all of your fault.
Close up Aang.
Close up Aang is a meme.
Drink.
Hell.
That's gotta be a meme by now.
Wiggly arm man, yeah.
Man sweeping nothing.
What the f is he doing? God damn it, you made another meme! What is he doing?
I have never been drunk with Tank before. I've heard stories of drunk Tank. But
That's
I've
a
never
while
witnessed
ago. My inner dragon has lain dormant ever since incident.
Is the Avatar 10 times what brings out the dragon?
My God, I hope not.
I hope not too. You're in my house.
Your homestead cannot handle.
That's what I'm saying. He's in my house. I hope not.
If Zanzibar wakes up, everyone in its radius.
Zanzibar, dick hair, drink.
Dick hair, drink.
Oh wait,
get ready. Shut up. Everyone, shut up. Everyone, shut the f up. The meme's coming.
Is who the meme or is
both of them? White guy, drink. Jonah Hill, drink. Drink. Something about. I always believed you were real. What was it? Not a meme yet.
He's shooting fire from nowhere.
God damn it. That's one though.
Tank. I got the conspiracy you were asking for.
Yeah.
Jar Jar Binks was behind the invasion.
Shut the f up. You're losing it. Yeah, the plot is gone. It's out the window.
Is that any more unreasonable than the plot we're watching?
Jar Jar Binks shows up? Yeah, I think so. Misa love you, Angie. Waterbenders will now waterbend. Oh, never mind.
God,
this guy's, he got beat. Oh, no, that's dead. Guys, speed up the process. Just give us the burrito already.
Yeah, right?
Jesus Christ.
I like how that turned into give me the burrito.
Just give me the burrito already, mother. I gotta piss again.
Why does Tank have to piss every 2 hours, like on the dot?
Because I'm drinking too much liquid, and now I'm drinking liquor, and that's going straight through me.
He broke the seal, guys.
And now I'm
seals. You know about the seal? Does that mean you have like control of your galactic?
Galactic what? What's the next word coming out of your mouth?
What does he call it? The galactic chakras? The cosmic energy. There we go. The cosmic energy. Oh my God, it's the burrito. Drink.
Oh, take the burrito. Thank you, sir, for the burrito. All right, the shots are done. The credits are rolling for the 6th time. God damn it, Ark. For a second, I forgot we were watching this movie. I was talking to you, and we were drinking and just having a good time. And I turned to the left because there was this weird, like, the room got really quiet for some reason. I was like, what's going on? And I turned, and he's like, I am Prince Zuko. And I was like, me to death. I don't want to be here. Do you guys want to SWAT ARK'S house, but with food?
Do you want me to give them my address? Like, is that what you're trying to do? You're trying to dox me right now?
Think if we pay for the torture, this becomes illegal.
Only the Avatar can go speak to them.
Only the Avatar can speak to ghosts. Because I said I'm grandmother. God, can we just even the avatar state is you know how hard it is to f something up that's that cool? Whatever. I'm starting to forget.
Your
I'm
anger,
forgetting the original show
your
because
anger
of this
could be a
garbage.
source.
Our total timestamp has slid over a little bit. We need to move it a little bit. Hey,
what?
He's looking right at us.
Don't look at the camera.
Hey, get the f out of here.
Don't look at the camera, asshole.
Hey, who are you? Get the f out of here. What's the matter, you?
He can look at whoever he wants.
Hey, what's the matter?
Bada bing, bada boom. Mozzarella Supreme, forget about it.
Mozzarella Supreme, forget about it.
My stomach's like, I'm about to water bend up in this shit.
Oh, no.
And tomorrow, my ass will be like, I'm about to water bend up in this shit.
Oh, no. And I hope Julie can come get me at 3 o'clock in the morning. I want to, it's nothing about, I know I keep saying it, and it's a joke when you reply to it, but genuinely, I just want to go home and just crawl into the fetal position in my shower and just like stay there for several hours. And I will lay down in my bed with my family and just weep openly over the tragedy that is watching this movie 10 times in a row.
Watch, coming up here.
He hops onto one and then just comes
He's
back.
like, oh, this shit.
Never noticed that guy. The f***ing balls on that dude.
To jump across onto one?
If he jumped onto one, what if that had went well? Would he have continued? He kept jumping from 1 to 1 to go fight the Avatar in single combat? 1-on-1 on top of a pillar, suspended in air over a giant chasm?
Yes, but it would have been somebody
What a
that
f***ing legend.
Hang on. Holy shit, Tank. Look at that.
Oh my god. Holy shit.
Yeah. Nobody gets
no one has any
whatsoever.
idea what we're talking about. Oh man. Oh, so this is hello
Good
YouTube.
luck
because
editing
is
this
the clip
shit.
I'm going to. No, this is where I'm gonna come in with a narration and be like, you know, it wasn't all bad. Like that one time where we got distracted for 20 minutes staring at a stink bug that had snuck in onto ARK'S ceiling in the middle of the movie. And I'll cut to the clip where you go, holy shit, look at that. And I go, whoa. And then dead air.
Tank, is it bad that after like 6 times through, I'm like, this movie's really not that bad. They did an okay job of like.
Oh my god.
I can see what they're trying to do. It's just not executed well at all.
You know what it feels like to me?
What's that?
It feels like you're succumbing to this. It feels like it has beaten you down and it's taking you hostage from me. We need to stay unified.
But no, like it's still like one of the worst movies I've ever watched. But what I'm saying is I understand the vision that they're going for. They just had terrible casting, terrible acting, terrible screenplay, terrible narrating, terrible writing, terrible directing.
I understand what they were going for, but everything they did was shit.
Yes. Yeah. Like if I was a college professor, I'd be like, it's really bad. You executed an idea and you went with it. I'll give this like a C- as a college film.
As a college film?
Am I wrong? What would you give this if this were a college film?
If it was, if this movie was made by a college student, Jesus Christ! I think if any teacher gave this student for this project anything lower than an A+, they're dirty assholes.
Okay.
And they need to lose their job.
Okay.
Because like Jesus Christ, all this CGI, all the money, all the
That's
outfits,
true. That's
all
true. That's true.
There's like hundreds of actors in this film, and it's like, if I went to my professor Hanjin and I was like, here's my senior project, this is what I shot in a semester of being your student, and it was this,
all of this clothing, like all of this.
Yeah, and he was like, yeah, it's like a C-. I'd be like, I'm gonna f you, how dare you, like, holy shit.
So I was trying to build up a bit, and Tank just absolutely dismantled it. I like the new direction of the bit. I agree.
I like the new direction of the bit.
You just said this to be an A+ of a college student. What's the difference between a college film director and a regular director? Just millions of dollars?
Yeah, millions of dollars and
So you're
Depending
saying
on the director,
film quality. You're
an amount
saying
of
that
hubris.
you're saying director film quality. The only difference is millions of dollars. If I gave you right now $50 million to make a film, you could make a film better than the Avatar: Last Airbender.
If you gave me $50 million, me specifically.
Yes, you specifically.
I guarantee you I could make a movie better than that.
Okay, good. That's our next milestone chat. Let's give Tank Runner $50 million to make Avatar 2. He has to make the second season. He has to continue from this film specifically. And he has to
Hold on. I was given the money, right? And I absolutely had to make a sequel to this movie and keep all of this canon, right? The one and only good episode of Korra where they do the flashback where Aang and all of their friends are like 40. So we need more of that. So we take adult 25-year-old Aang and we go, all right, we're following Aang and Sokka and Katara and Toph, and this is after the events of taking down the Fire Lord. Wait. Okay, in the sequel that I get to make with $50 million, could I legally, and by legally I don't mean like will they let me, I mean like will you in this bet, you give me money to do this, I potentially make my sequel take place in a different alternate reality of this world?
No.
Okay, that's cheating. I get it. Right. Well, then time travel's involved.
What a twist! $280 million on the line. With that money, you already paid the guy who's writing and directing. How pissed are you when the movie comes out, everyone hates it, and you find out he didn't even watch the show?
So you've seen the first 2 episodes of season 3. Are you excited for the rest of the season and the finale of Avatar?
I can't wait. We've been watching the first 2 over and over and over at our house.
He had full control. Writer, director, producer, he does this with everything he makes.
Written, produced, and directed by M. Night Shyamalan? Is that why? I thought someone else wrote it. Oh, wait, I had Shyamalama Ding Dong's IMDb up. Okay. Here are the things that he was a producer on. Praying with Anger, which I have not seen. Unbreakable, which that was the thing that made him famous. Signs, Village, Lady in the Water, Happening, Last Airbender, Devil. Then he did After Earth, The Visit, Wayward Pines, Split, Glass, Servant, and Old. Okay, so now we're gonna look at his director stuff. Oh my god. Praying with Anger, The Sixth Sense, Unbreakable, Signs, Village, Lady in the Water, The Happening, The Last Airbender, After Earth, Wayward Pines, The Visit, Split, Glass, Servant, Old. Now we go to the writers. Praying with Anger, Wide Awake, The Sixth Sense, Stuart Little, Unbreakable, Signs, The Village, Lady in the Water, Happening, pretty much all the exact. Let's fucking back up a second and say that M. Night Shyamalan wrote Stuart Little.
He's the one who went to Nickelodeon, not the other way around. It was being done his way. So I'm not gonna hear that he did his best with what they gave him, and I'm definitely not gonna listen to any more people telling me that he was a fan and he really wanted to make something the fans would love. He had the original writers right there, and he told them to f off.
We just thought, well, this is what we've been dealt. We'll offer help when it's asked of us, and if it's not, we'll stay out of the way. And in the beginning, it was more positive, and we offered help. But then, we had a big falling out, and whatever. It's a long. I mean, I would need like 2 weeks to tell you this story.
Human beings don't talk like this. M. Night doesn't understand how humans speak.
A lot of the villages in this part of the Earth Kingdom are occupied by the Fire Nation. Like this village was. They prey on the weakest towns and villages. We should go visit some of these towns on.
The dialogue in this movie is somehow uncomfortably long-winded, but impossibly vague. Like the characters are playing a game where they have to explain something really complicated, but there's a list of words somewhere that they aren't allowed to use.
Our spies have discovered someone claiming to be the Avatar. They describe him as just a boy. We should set a trap for this person. We have many Earth Kingdom people under our control. I can leave soldiers hidden in certain locations.
Boy, oh boy, the script is not great, is it?
No, it's really
we haven't brought this up at all because it seems nitpicky at this point, but like the dialogue is just very odd.
Yeah. It's very forced. It's very forced.
We should definitely be prepared for this person. It can leave soldiers in very specific locations. Why are you talking like that? Why are you doing this?
It's children. This is how children talk.
Who are you?
My name is Katara, and I'm the only waterbender left in the Southern Water Tribe.
If all of the characters speak as if they're children, but Shyamalan knows he's writing adults, that means, oh God, That's like, I don't want to make a joke about it. That's like too mean. It actually makes me kind of sad. M. Night is writing on like a 5th grade level. Oh wait, he has a net worth of $80 million, and based on his other movies, probably got paid a few $1 million just to write this one. This rich do better. 5,137 spoken words in this script. Does this feel like $1,300 a word to you?
Just wait till everyone's fighting everyone.
Is there a spiritual place where I can meditate?
There is a very spiritual place. The city was built around this place.
Every line is forced. The actors have a really hard time delivering these lines in any way even close to resembling natural, and he relied way too heavily on people having seen the show to get any emotion out of this.
They can't have the good guys have any bad traits, and all of the bad guys have to have exclusively bad traits. For Zuko, because everyone wants Katara to Zuko, so we have to make sure that he's at least a nice guy. He's just misunderstood. He's a bad boy. She can fix him. Look at me like that.
He was bending tiny stones at us from behind a tree. It really hurt.
Jesus Christ, M. Night Shyamalan. Go to a writing class. You don't have a serious person say some shit like that. Like, I get you're trying to make a joke, but it would obviously be way funnier if we saw some people who were like, oh, we take ourselves super seriously, and oh, we're big soldiers. And we see little rocks get thrown at them and them getting more and more pissed off about it. I always knew you were real. This movie doesn't establish the fact that nobody thought he was real.
Right, yeah.
That he was a myth or that he died a long time ago.
The Avatar disappeared 100 years ago.
And now everyone thinks that he's not real.
Zhao has no sacredness.
What?
Are you sure you
What the? That's such a weird. Oh, why did you write that? Why'd you write it like that?
My dad told me about it before he left. It's led by a princess because her father died.
It's led by a princess because her father died? Okay, first off, if she's a princess and her father died, she's not a princess anymore. She's the queen. Second of all, not a second of all. This. I'm done. I'm leaving. Goodbye. No, it couldn't have just happened. He said that his dad told him about that. Like, that coronation has been put on hold for like 8 years. You guys remember the Great Library when we talked about that like 14 times throughout this movie? You guys remember the Great Library? Remember when I said I had a scroll? This is that scroll, you remember?
We don't have time to write character development and have our main characters face conflict and differing opinions leading to the opportunity to change minds and grow as people. We have to have Aang run away for no reason and have an 11-minute long fight scene that adds nothing to the story.
I'm sure he doesn't give a because when you become that famous, you don't give a shit. And then also on top of that, it's like where you go, well, if it made money and it was profitable, then it was a success. So it was a good movie. And you go, a lot of people will go see a movie thinking that it's good and then it ends up being bad. And then the ratings get tanked. Jesus Christ, the sequel trilogy for Star Wars. And, you know, there are some people who still are like, yeah, no, it was fine. I thought it was okay. Guess what? They keep trying to make more and more Star Wars stuff and they keep making less and less money.
Oh, they're bowing.
Everyone's
including
bowing.
the Fire Nation soldiers.
Everyone is giving up.
Oh, so the war's over. That's why there's no. That's why
over.
there's no other movies after this.
Yeah.
Due to the steep decline of our subjects, closing statements for this viewing will be replaced with a horribly inaccurate synopsis of the Taken trilogy, the Fast and the Furious franchise, and Star Wars. We apologize for any inconvenience.
Okay, so the first movie is his daughter gets kidnapped. Second movie, his daughter gets kidnapped also.
Is the third movie his dog gets kidnapped?
No, the 3 is he gets kidnapped and his daughter saves him.
Oh. So what's
she gets taken, but then he gets taken.
Following that logic, what's like Furious 9?
Fast and Furious 9 is all about family. It's like Star Wars 9, and it's all about family.
Isn't 8 about family?
All about family.
Isn't 7 about family?
Everything's, if it's all about family, it doesn't have to be good, Ark.
3's about Tokyo Drift.
We should go Tokyo Drift right now.
Because like the original Fast and Furious was mostly about like street racing. Fast and Furious 9 is like about.
Not joking. Take me seriously. Get in your car. We're gonna Tokyo Drift right now.
We can take the Firebird. I'll drift in the Firebird. It's not inspected, and I'm drunk, so what can go wrong?
Until now, we've seen the experiment take a physical toll on the subjects, but the 7th viewing marks the rapid decline of their mental and emotional state, especially when it comes to the relationship between the two subjects. It was about this time that Subject 1 had a particularly sharp drop-off when it came to his opinions of Subject 2, stating in a note written on a taco wrapper that we found among the remains, quote, "I've never wanted to harm another person more than this." We've decided to attach the heart rate and blood pressure readings of Subject 1 to the following footage to make things easier for those of you who, like Subject 2, are unable to tell when someone really wants you to die horribly in a house fire. We hope to save lives.
Yes, we
Talk
are.
about aspects of the movie that are better than Chorus since you hate Chorus so much. It's not that the movie is. Oh my god,
that's a
they're
good
both
one. That's a
shit.
fair good one.
They're both shit.
I'll hold that to him. I'll ask him and see what he
Both
says.
shitty though.
But no. So
I will wait to explain myself when we start the movie.
No, we won't.
I will
No, we
explain
won't.
myself.
We won't explain ourselves at all. So to challenge this episode is going to be critically analyze it. We need to talk about what they did right and what they did wrong in each scene. We're gonna come at this like professional film students and analyze.
No, we f***ing aren't. Start the goddamn stream. I'm not arguing with you right now.
I'm not starting it until
Start
you.
the video.
Tank.
God, if this is gonna be a theme with you this whole run. Oh my god.
So you can see my friendship with Tank
dwindling. It's
deteriorating
right
in
front of
live
everyone
time
right now.
Yes.
I've been abandoned by the gods. I'm alone on this venture.
Pop quiz.
Here we go. Fucking what is? Is it about the movie?
Yes.
Okay.
Pop quiz. What is Sokka hunting?
Sheep. Tiger seals.
As you can see, Subject 1 is doing his best to keep the experiment running smoothly, trying not to lose his temper on Subject 2 and make the vibes for the rest of the night super weird. However, he will not be able to keep this up for long, as Subject 1 states in an additional note found smeared on the walls and smushed pizza rolls, quote, "I'm going to him."
God, I haven't even thought about the fact that in like an hour or two, I'm going to start getting tired. I haven't even started to think about that. All I've been thinking about is the fact I'm losing my mind, and the only person that I have as company is lost more of his mind than I have. And now I have to, is it.
What are you implying?
Implying that you've gone insane. I think we might slowly be deteriorating in the direction of like the lighthouse. I am what's his dick, the vampire from Twilight, and you are what's his dick, Green Goblin from Spider-Man.
But at least I have a hoverboard.
The descent into madness begins.
Tank.
Yes.
I hope this doesn't come between our friendship.
Too late.
How are we gonna fit this in the canon of this? So it's like
nobody knows what you're talking about. I'm a little drunk. ARK'S gone. He's blitzed as.
Do I get 3
Tank is not as
brother?
drunk as Wolf. Fix it. You. I was gonna keep drinking, but now I'm the one holding the fucking reins on this hell ride. I was gonna keep going, but I had to stop for our own sanity.
Wait.
What? Listen, we're on a hell ride. We're on a roller coaster that goes
Hellraiser! I love that
down
movie.
into hell. And the only way to escape is for me to control the cart, which is currently only on one rail, because the other rail fell off hours ago.
What are you implying?
And if I think I'm trying to keep us teetering on one wheel so we don't fall into oblivion, and you're currently in the back seat of the cart trying to rock us back and forth. It's not what this was originally about.
No,
I understand.
You're
No,
right.
it
You're
wasn't.
right. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying.
Sorry.
But
I'm
like,
sorry.
we're riding. No, don't be
sorry.
sorry.
I'm sorry.
Don't be. Stop it. You quit it. Okay, everybody, we're gonna listen to Gran talk about her weird hippy dippy horoscope. I believe in ghost bullshit. And then
Once, long ago, I was at a place called Woodstock.
I did a lot of drugs and sucked a whole lot of dick.
How can that be?
Back in those days, Jimi Hendrix was Avatar.
At this point, I'm just like staring at their faces, and I hate it. I hate this movie now. I hate everyone now. I've lost my mind. God. Avatar would have to be an airbender. Are you an airbender boy? No, I'm a bald boy. And
Push!
God.
Drink!
Up with me. Heck you. They were
They're
all
air
in the middle
nomads.
of the Earth
The
Kingdom.
only black person we have seen in this movie is an air nomad, Monkeyatso. They were all wearing red and orange airbending clothing. They were black. They have to be nomads. The air nomad.
They're not though.
It has
what
to
you're
be.
saying no.
No other explanation.
There's
Ron.
no other explanation. You hear that, everybody? There's no explanation.
The Appa yell.
Oh!
Appa screaming in the background.
That one was really quiet. That's really funny. Oh.
It's just... So we almost got to the Blue Spirit.
What the f was that guy?
Who?
What was he doing?
What?
This is his throne room, the Fire Lord's throne room, and that man looked like he was just looking at the artwork.
Yes,
in the
he
room.
was
He's
just
like,
looking at the artwork.
Oh yeah, look at this weird ball.
He
This
like
is pretty
waved to his commander.
He waved.
My brother and the princess became friends right away.
My brother really wanted to f her. It's weird that I decided to tell you guys about that in my own brain. Took the time to think about the fact that they just really wanted to go at it. I mean, look at this.
I might have peeked at them when they did, like a week later. I can confirm in my research that they did, in fact, go down in the 2 weeks that they knew each other. Now use offense song. Take a drink. That's a meme.
Now.
Take a drink.
Drink. There's this movie, and the people in the chat might give a shit about this. I don't remember what it's called. I watched it when I was very young. The longest time I thought that it was the Dark Crystal. For the longest time I thought it was the Dark Crystal, right? Until Julia made me watch the Dark Crystal, and I went, "This isn't the f***ing movie." And then she's like, "Well, what movie did you think was the Dark Crystal?" There's this movie about kangaroos who do martial arts, and they also may or may not be connected to an element. The Dark Crystal, I thought, was the name of that movie. So every time someone talked about the Dark Crystal, I went, "Oh yeah, the movie with the kangaroos that are connected to an element that do karate. It's like the Avatar, but the kangaroos." And I can't remember what that was called.
You are stopping yourself from grieving.
Did you say gravy? You want chicken and gravy? He said it should have been. See, I didn't understand it.
I have to know. No, I'm down after 7 watches of this movie that we somehow missed out on the part where the dragons talk about chicken and gravy.
God!
Never ending.
I'm sorry.
This hell is cyclical. Will never end.
I like pushing take buttons too much. It's fun.
Oh my God! There it is!
Oh, there it is!
Get him
Yeah! Beat the shit out of him! Woo!
Right, so, sometimes we may be a little aggressive, but it's the little things that bring us back together. It's the things that bring us our sanity for just a moment, and it's one man beating another man to death with his fists.
No, look at he's like 50 foot tall.
He's so big. What do you want to talk about?
I want
in this weird
to
scene.
talk about how Azula looks like she's 15.
You said she was 10 like 30 hours ago.
I did. But I start to see more and more of her.
I start to see more and more of her.
Is Wolf body
shaming Azula? No, I think he's coming to terms with some weird shit when it comes to this child.
She's on her knees and she's only like 4 foot tall. And I assumed she was like 10 years old. I looked up the actress. The actress was like 23 at the time. And I was like, oh, I don't know. She's
written, produced, and directed by M. Night Shyamalama Ding Dong.
It's so everybody. Disrespectful, but also
finished.
That guy.
You disrespectful. If he was a baby that was gonna turn into himself, I'd.
For legal reasons, that's a joke. For legal reasons, that's a joke.
How's that more? How is it less disrespectful?
At least you didn't mock his family name.
She wore a crown and she came down in a bubble, dog. I'm not fighting with you. Grow up.
YouTube made me censor most of this conversation, and all it did was make it sound way worse.
I've only got a few more hours left in me before I just start wishing bodily harm on the actors who played these people.
What if you find out that kid grew up to be like...
So it's like the opposite of the Hitler problem. Where they're like, you go back in time and there's a baby, but it's Hitler baby, and if you kill the baby, then Hitler doesn't exist anymore. This is the opposite, right? Like this kid you're in front of a baby. This baby is awful. It's the shittiest baby on the planet. It is gonna turn into something good. Do you that baby because the shitlord.
It was a background actor in Avatar: The Last Airbender live
let's
action.
pick something good. Let's pick like the Teddy Roosevelt.
Yeah. This baby,
His
this
baby's
baby
gonna
was
turn
a
into Teddy
background
Roosevelt.
actor in Avatar: The Last Airbender movie, but grows up to be Teddy Roosevelt. Do you, baby?
No.
But it would prevent this movie from being made. Because
Yeah,
they can't make the movie without the background.
Yeah, but Teddy Roosevelt's a cool motherfucker. Teddy Roosevelt's a cool motherfucker. If I had to choose the other one though, if there was a baby that was a cute, adorable baby, and then it grew up to be M. Night Shyamalan to make this movie, I'd have that baby. I'd kick that baby over a field goal immediately.
Tank.
What? Are you?
You're a baby.
What? Yeah. No, we're not doing that. We're not referencing things that
I
people
just
don't know.
referenced.
Stop it then! And then when I try and change the subject, don't bring it back up!
And you guys wonder why it was so hard for me to DM like meaningful characters, because every time I made a meaningful character, you're just like,
Yeah, well, stop making meaningful characters out of serial killing monsters. People
you
with
don't
goals
know
for
that.
heads.
What if you?
Yes, I do. I know the
What
for
if you
a
go
fact
back
that's
in
what they
time?
do.
What if you go back in time and you see two babies, and you're like, one of them grows up to be Hitler, and I don't know about the other one. Do you slaughter both of them?
I don't know about the other one. It depends. What's the baby look like? Is the baby half wolf?
The other one could grow up to be Teddy Roosevelt.
Is the baby half wolf
So
and
one
also
baby-
only is a carnivore and also is most likely going to eat other babies when it grows up?
One baby?
And maybe I do kill that baby.
One baby grows up to be Hitler. The other baby grows up to be Abraham Lincoln. Do you both babies?
You can't. That's completely different. If the question is, you've only got one bullet, there's one baby, that baby's going to be Hitler. Then there's another baby that could potentially turn into a horrific murdering machine. I line them both up.
Are you implying that Abraham Lincoln was a terrible murdering machine?
No, I'm not talking about Abraham Lincoln. You
I
brought
was.
up Abraham Lincoln. I don't care what you're talking about.
Are you talking about one baby's Hitler and one baby's Mecha Hitler? Because that doesn't count.
One's Hitler and one's a Knoll. Oh, yes. If one of the babies is a Knoll who will grow up to be M. Night Shyamalan, or wait, no, I guess that's a third baby, right? There's an M. Night Shyamalan baby, there's a Hitler baby, and there's a Knoll
There's an
baby.
Abraham Lincoln
I will
baby.
line them all up, them in such a way that all their heads come off.
So
Hitler baby's gonna grow up to be the Avatar.
I don't.
But which Avatar?
Wait, whoa. Are we talking about Hitler Avatar?
Yeah. Take the time to apologize for anyone who is genuinely watching this movie with us talking over top of it. We are not talking about this at all.
Before the experiment began, the research and observation teams discussed what side effects we could expect out of our subjects. But none of us were truly prepared for the otherworldly effect being stuck in an enclosed space with this film for 18 hours would have on the human body. As testing became more strenuous, these subjects began showing signs of more than just the results of sitting on a couch for way too long.
By the way, guys, before I started drinking, just want to let you know, I literally vomited at the end of last.
Oh
playthrough.
yeah, we've figured out that apparently after 4 viewings of the last Airbender, that's where human beings start to just get sick, and then which makes me assume that 6 is like you become ill, you get like a fever.
The torment became so psychological that the subjects seemingly gained the ability of divination and were somehow able to see into the future and perfectly foresee exactly what the film had in store for them.
I'm getting really hot, but I'm
hot.
not hot. My body is like, remember a while ago
Remember
when you
Consequences?
You guys remember a while ago when you jokingly said watch number 6 was when you were going to get a fever?
The subjects were able to put together this list of symptoms. Viewing 4, victim becomes nauseous. The body attempts to purge itself in the confusion. Viewing 6, victim gains a fever. The body fights back against the foreign substance. Viewing 8, victim begins reverting back to primal instincts of fight or flight, changing them into either a submissive or dominating presence. Any more time spent with the anomaly will cause irreversible damage to victim's health. Viewing 10, the human body cannot withstand this many viewings of The Last Airbender.
Are you guys okay? F you, of course we're not. Here we go, everybody.
Do you now regret this?
I think I might be. I think that's the direction I'm leaning right now. I think I am regretting it. But it's hard to say because this one has definitely like we've milked it a lot at this point. Here's the thing. I've been watching this now for 13 hours straight. I've been watching nothing but this movie for 13 hours. It's awful. It's awful. I hate this experience. But at the same time, we are still talking about new shit, and some of this it has been fairly entertaining in comparison to we were watching Korra. I would have a good time through season 1, then I'd have an awful time through 2 to the point of having a conniption.
Which was done.
Is it too late to switch?
The subjects became so far gone that they thought it a good idea to act as if they were two people participating and commentating on a world record speedrun, to make sure that no other innocent people are objected to this poorly devised bit that lasted through the entirety of viewing 8, despite how it may look to all of you at home. The following footage has been heavily doctored.
Speedrun, you want to get to the end of the Grand cutscene in less than 14 minutes and 38 seconds?
I hear
saves you like 2
if you
minutes.
try to pick up the box right
That's
before
called the Stone Genocide
here,
skip.
you got pocket IRO.
Before the question
This is the gimmick we're going through. Watch 8.
You know, this is a very specific niche joke for only like 4 people. But I'm enjoying this heavily. It's giving me something new to think about other than this awful film. Burrito %.
Burrito time.
And black. That's a new PB.
Dude, they're having a rave. Did you see that?
It didn't.
Every single little like.
I haven't looked at the screen in 45 minutes.
What if M. Night Shyamalan, because of these talks,
sitting in his multi-million
you could never. Range. Well, yeah, he's watch my. They must my movie.
Oh my god, real fans! I can't wait to 30 seconds in. We're like, this piece of shit is the worst thing, and he's just sitting there. He's like, maybe at some point they'll say something nice. 13 hours in. So if there was a baby and he was gonna grow up to be M. Night Shyamalan, I'd line him up with Hitler, and he's like, guys, I made a bunch of other stuff too, and they're like, you.
Yeah.
He's like, but guys, Lady in the Water, and they're like, you.
By the second playthrough, when we're like, we'll say nothing but good things, he's like, oh?
Oh? That was the first official real yawn that I did today. I'm concerned. I'm going to take another one of those 5-hour energies. Like 5-hour energies and break into the secret hidden 25th hour in a day. Throughout the day, Ark has become more and more horizontal.
This is correct.
I'm gonna get M. Night Shyamalan's face tattooed over top of my face. Rated
I rated the most ancient library of ultimate knowledge, and all I found was the location of this one fish that all of the water tribes already knew where it was.
So I refuse to believe not one of those soldiers while running through that hole didn't slip or hurt themselves. And that weird ice butthole thing. And it's got like ripples in it, so it's not like flat and it's rounded at the same time.
It's like just as many ripples as a butthole would have.
We have one more fight.
Super wet ice butthole is the worst.
So there's also going to be stuff where I'm going to be editing the movie clips in for context of what we're talking about.
Right, yeah.
So I am going to have to download this movie and watch it a bunch more times in the editing process. Yeah, this very generic sounding music that would be in literally any other movie, just like this.
Yeah.
It's just white noise at this point. You know what isn't white noise? Every time Momo does anything.
Yes, yeah.
It's immediately melted into everyone's brain, and it's just, you know what isn't? I just want to go home to my family.
Your family is now M. Night Shyamalan.
Guess I'm about to my family.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
At the end of viewing 8, a member of the observation team found an article posted online titled The Last Airbender, 10 Things the Live-Action Movie Actually Got Right, and thought it a good idea to send it down to the subjects for analysis after they had been filled to the brim with rage, alcohol, and a decade of tacos.
The live action nailed Katara's unreliable water bending. What the f does that even mean? What is that? What the f does that mean?
9. The Appa and Momo CG designs perfect.
It's not true at all. 8. They did justice to
Iroh's kindness and tea fixation. He drank tea twice.
Honored Amma and Azula's character description? What? I mean, the character that Gran refers to by name, and then that's it. It's never comes into play. And Azula, who comes in at the very end of the movie, who looks nothing like Azula. The live action did a good job exploring Aang's struggle to embrace his responsibilities.
No,
as
it
the
didn't.
Avatar.
The dragon told him he murdered everybody, and that was it.
5. The elemental bending was visually appealing. I mean... if you literally mean the special effect of the element, then sure. But the actual movements of the bending that go along with those CGI...
We've already talked about that multiple times.
It's bullshit.
They're waving their arms and putting special effects at random times.
4. They did well with Princess...
Yue's link to the moon spirit.
Does that mean they did well with the connection between...
Is it because she died?
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Wait.
They took less than a minute to explain the fish and how they're connected to the princess. The Fire Nation costume design and Fire Nation ships were well crafted. I will say that the
I'll give
costumes
that
were
one.
decent.
I'll give
I
that
will
one.
not say the ships were well crafted because when you look at them, they look like spaceships.
The ships,
they look really weirdly overly designed.
Every single ship was like some random size and vaguely looked similar.
They nailed the portrayal of Admiral Zhao as a well-informed jerk. I will say
we did already say that he's the best thing in the movie.
He's the best thing in this movie. The character of the animated show and this movie are nothing alike.
No.
And the last one is they did justice with Zuko saving Aang when disguised as the blue
We've
spirit.
already covered that. No, they
Scene is
didn't.
okay. They did quote unquote justice to it. That's the vaguest way of describing it. Whatever. There's a link in case anybody wants to see this bullshit list written by some kid. Here we go. This is the worst. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Don't argue with me. I'm in charge.
We are equals. I'm sorry. I'm gonna.
Horton here's a domestic
I'm gonna
dispute.
start saying that every time.
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
All right, guys, I'm just gonna give it to you straight. I really lost the plot on this one. After 14 hours, we couldn't be I was in and out of consciousness, and I lost all interest in writing this section halfway through this sentence.
Look how bad that green screen is, even after
We
nothing.
keep telling this the 9th time.
Look at that shit.
Every time
It's
we're
so
like,
bad.
oh man, that's CGI though.
Like seriously, what's gonna catch on fire there? They're igloos.
Shown your privilege. People can only afford ice cubes, okay?
Right, but they can make new ice cubes. They literally have an ice maker standing right there.
Let's go penguin sledding.
Let's kill them all. I will kill them all.
I love somehow our timelines aligned.
Okay.
Oh, let's go penguin sledding with me at the exact time that Sokka was like, "I'll everyone." There was like this perfect moment that just perfectly encapsulates the problems with this movie.
Zuko's mom must have got around because those two do not look anything alike.
I can't believe you can't talk anymore. See shit like that. Ark, you can't talk like that. Women can vote now.
He will begin to change hearts.
And hearts win wars.
Now understand the immense pain that Appa is always in. They just unironically did the Appa scream, but it was just me feeling agony.
So remember,
Agony Kai.
Agony Kai, yeah, there you go.
Heyo.
What if we watch the last one in reverse?
What are you talking about? We ate several.
We ate
tacos.
like 5 tacos each or something like that. 4 tacos each.
The brain is still fried though because I almost said we ate a whole decade of tacos. We reenact the whole movie, scene for scene, shot for shot.
As Jar Jar Binks.
Into a webcam, and every character is Jar Jar Binks. Misa, love you, Sokka. Isn't this so that every time you do this, I get the wet? That one turned into Mario.
Was that Mario or Jar Jar?
All right, T-minus 3 minutes to 13 benders and 1 stone. Oh my God, there's another sweeping guy who's doing nothing.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we cracked
guy.
this conspiracy wide open.
The
Oh, this dirt's a little lopsided, so I better get my straw broom to slowly rake the dirt. Holy shit!
Why is Katara smiling when she's hanging the wanted poster of Aang? Why is she the one hanging?
Maybe we can't read that, so maybe it's
There's
it
no
says,
other
join the Avatar.
There's no way they'd be advertising that Avatar
starting a rebellion.
Like they're trying to hide.
Considering the firebending needs a source, do you think that the firebenders in this world get really pissed off when they waste it?
When somebody else grabs it?
And I just love the idea of it being like when people play Halo, the shittiest person on your team picks up the rocket launcher and then proceeds to like blow up the whole team with it. And they're like, motherfucker.
Yep. What are you laughing at?
And then just all the like 35 backflips he did just to make this tornado.
Aang, can you hear me?
Aang, can you hear me? I always believed in you.
I always thought you were real. I never gave up on you. Always knew you'd return. M. Night Shyamalan legitimately thinks we've forgotten who the f this man is.
That we might not be able to recognize him because he changed clothes. We last saw him in white.
When they edited that, fireballs coming in from 2 separate directions, she very much so notices the one and turns her whole side and back to it and faces one, brings up the water, blocks that one, and then turns her head sharply just long enough to get side swiped by this other fireball. Drink. The white guy. Drink again. Then we got Jonah Hill Soldier. Drink again. It's like the end of the scene. Like no, when the scene is about that one. It's so intense.
It's pretty good. That might be the best like background character in the.
Yeah, that guy who got paid like 1 gift card to the Olive Garden. It's like the best actor in the movie. What?
I'm really sorry.
You
have to wake up now. It's 7 o'clock. We have to start the stream in an hour. You have to wake up now. You have to wake up now, Tank.
My disappointment is immeasurable. And my day is ruined.
So he's somebody, right? He's like a musician or something? One of the Jonas Brothers or something?
Like...
Okay, his name is Jackson Rathbone. That's pretty metal. Let's click on this guy. Let's see what he's done. Based off of these images, it sure does look like he's done almost exclusively pornography. Oh, he was in Twilight, apparently. Oh shit! Is he the blonde cowboy vampire? Yep, that's him. That's him. He's the blonde cowboy vampire from Twilight. Jasper's brain.
Sokka was one of my favorite characters in the show, so I'm sorry if I end up being a bit more aggressive with this segment than I was with some of the other ones earlier. I understand and appreciate this character very much. So when I watch Sokka, I see every mistake, big and small. So it feels like a slap in the face every time M. Night totally fumbles the handling of such a great character. This might be the worst character assassination I've seen in the Avatar franchise since Korra Season 2 got its hands on Bolin. I said a lot about Sokka in the show segment, so I'm going to try my best not to repeat myself. All of the issues with this movie can be seen throughout its runtime, and we've gone over a lot of specific moments where those issues culminate. But in this situation, Sokka is affected by all of those issues all the time, indirectly. While M. Night was writing the script, trying to hold his movie together with toothpicks and bubblegum, he knew that sacrifices had to be made. And there was Sokka just standing there. So he started plucking. When a character didn't have anything to do or say, he would take actions and lines from Sokka. When he needed more time to have one more paragraph of exposition, he would take time from Sokka. When the movie needed to be darker, he'd take personality from Sokka. Sokka's character growth, development, and story was completely removed or given to a different character, and Shyamalan did that until there was nothing left but Sokka. We don't get Suki or Kyoshi Island, we don't get Jet or the Freedom Fighters, we don't get the real Northern Air Temple. The only thing left of Sokka's story is his relationship to Princess Yue, and even that might as well have been thrown out.
Got to have a meeting with the princess. My brother really wanted to go to the Bone Zone with the princess. They had to put that narration in because people wouldn't know that him looking at her was because he was attracted to her and vice versa. Because his face never changes. He looks at Axe like he is literally a pile of stones.
So
the man's not a good enough actor to have been allowed to kiss her like that.
Sokka.
I feel like she got paid a lot to do that kiss.
He couldn't even be to give us the boomerang bit.
There's the only use of the boomerang in the whole movie, I think.
He gets 2 people with it.
It hits those people and then flies back to him perfectly. At this point, I'm not even joking. I think maybe Sokka has said a total of 10 words.
What do you call it? That test of if women talk to each
Oh,
other?
the Bechdel test?
Yes.
What do we want to call it? Let's call it the Sokka Apparendum. Next run, we'll keep track of how many times Sokka actually speaks.
Again, we got too drunk and totally forgot about doing this, but 47. It's 47 lines. The guy who loves to talk, the guy who never stops running his mouth, speaks 520 words. Just for reference, this segment of my script has exactly 520 words in it. I don't know why I'm sitting here at 4 a.m. trying to explain this to you. I could have just copy and pasted his lines into my script and called it a night. At first, the Sokka Apparendum was just a way for us to rate every scene of the movie based on a few parameters. 1. Does Sokka appear in the scene? 2. Does Sokka talk in this scene? 3. Does he do anything other than just wander around aimlessly in the background, focusing really hard on making sure that his eyeballs don't escape from his skull? But then, as we went further down, the test became unimportant because we found the real conspiracy. The thing big Hollywood doesn't want you to know about.
Extreme close-up Sokka that never blinks.
Sokka.
Does he blink at all?
My God. Oh my God. Ark, I think you found the conspiracy we've been looking for. Holy shit, does Sokka not blink through the entire film? Oh my Christ. We have to pay attention to this. Watch those eyes, watch those eyes, watch those eyes. No point! We think he may or may not be a lizard man. Jesus Christ, that take was so long and Sokka didn't blink through any of it.
Oh, you were watching that?
Holy shit, man.
I didn't see that.
That was like 2 minutes of talking. Not even a flutter.
I think I might throw myself into a wood chipper tomorrow. I'm gonna wait and see what the weather's like.
Jacob's got it.
Act 1. Aang meets Katara and Sokka. 25 minutes. Act 2. The Fire Nation is established and Aang decides to stop them. 28 minutes. Act 3. The Northern Water Tribe invasion. 42 minutes. 53 minutes to the first half of this movie. 42 to the third act. Nothing happens in this part of the movie until the invasion, which starts an hour and 10 minutes into the movie. Almost half of the movie is left for the third act, and 40% of that is filler. Even once the third act finally gets started and this movie decides to at least try and end, we get this.
What the fuck are those things? Wait, That's how the Fire Nation got inside? They drilled through the floor? Yeah. Like, really? That was your plan to get inside this ice-walled city? Not just fire bend through the ice wall? See, that thing's pretty cool. They could have used that to just melt the wall like they did just right now, instead of drilling their way in. Yeah. Like, why were the soldiers in there in the first place?
There's fire! There's fire right there! It's right there! It's a giant flaming sphere in the middle of the town. Not one of them fire bends off of it.
That ice was thin enough that they could drill through, yet a giant, 8-foot tall metal ball that's flaming gets launched through and just bounces off the ice. So which is it?
And that stuff right there, that's not made out of ice. That's specifically stone and stuff. So once again, you have to question how much of this is actually made of ice. And if the ground is ice and everything on top of it isn't, then it's how the f is the ice supporting all this weight while also being this thin?
Penelope, oh my God, she dropped her basket. She had no idea, except for like the 3 hours that we built up our army, marched them on the wall.
It's not a great sign that during the epic climax of your most expensive movie to date, we are looking to pay attention to literally anything else. Sidebar, not only is it the most expensive movie M. Night has ever made, it's more expensive than his last 5 movies combined. Hell, even if you ignore After Earth, which you should, it's more expensive than his last 7. It cost 75% of the Terminator trilogy. All 3 Lord of the Rings were independent films compared to this thing. God damn it, I'm just wasting time. I'm sorry, I just really don't want to talk about this next part. When I saw it the first time, I tore into it so bad that there was a significant percentage of people watching the stream who would leave and come back right before it came around again. They could smell blood in the water. Zuko, the Prince of the Fire Nation, trained from birth for combat, one of the only firebenders on the planet who has been shown to train regularly and have the ability to fight hundreds of soldiers at once without the use of his bending, versus Aang, a 12-year-old boy who was raised by pacifist monks. This scene.
Listen to me. This fight should not be that. Aang put him in a chokehold. That shouldn't happen. Aang should be dodging every single attack masterfully.
Yeah.
In any situation where Zuko grabs onto Aang and got him, because then bending doesn't matter. Aang has now become an 11-year-old boy who's being grappled by a 16-year-old boy. The fight is over. Zuko deserved to be banished by his father because he can't fight a child. He's got at least 3 feet on this kid and is also like at least 5, maybe more years older than him. And that fight had little to no bending in it. He could be friends, you know.
If I didn't just murder
I don't want to be
you.
friends with you. You're a serial killer. Why does he know a chokehold? That's why it's very important that when you do fight choreography that you make things even but not equal. I'm an 11-year-old. I weigh 80 pounds. I can hit you in the elbow and just completely shatter your bones. I can hit you so hard that you go, ah!
You could put the world's most jacked 12-year-old in front of me and I would absolutely obliterate them. I don't care how strong they are. I don't care how many muscles they have. I don't care if this kid was trained by Joe Rogan specifically to kick my ass. This kid's getting bodied.
So glad that that's the last time I'll have to watch that scene.
Before we get to the last viewing, I wanted to say thank you for watching this far, especially if you're one of the people who waited years for this video to come out. Hopefully, you think the wait was worth it. If this video gets 1,000 likes, I'll pick the suggestion with the most upvotes from the comments and torture myself all over again. This is BP Bludgeon. He's a good friend of mine here on YouTube. He makes good stuff, but sadly, he has a few more subscribers than me, so he needs to learn his place to prick. Subscribe to me. If you're interested in keeping up to date on any of my future projects or want to be involved in the process, come on over to the Discord. And if you want to help me create more stuff or speed up the gaps between uploads, I'd really appreciate it if you would check out my Patreon. Links to both of those in the description. As the subjects sat down for the 10th and final viewing, they were filled with a sort of mysterious vigor, pulling themselves forward using their will alone in one last desperate attempt to claw their way back to the realm of the living, before perishing and being dispersed across the cold, dark, eternal loneliness that is our cosmos.
Your friendship has grown stronger for it. That's not true. He's not in the room right now, so I have to whisper this. Our friendship has deteriorated significantly since we started doing this. Around the 7th watch, everything has gone downhill. He started drinking at 6. 7, he got so drunk, it was impossible to do anything with him. Everything went off the rails. It's been a disaster. Please, God, send help. If someone doesn't come soon, who knows what I'll do. Oh, hey, okay, he's okay. All right. He's back. He's just letting the dog out. Like a blade tempered by fire. Yeah, no, for sure. That's definitely the most accurate. Yeah, that's super accurate. Our friendship has definitely grown way stronger. This is the movie doing justice to Iroh and his ability to drink lots of tea.
Heroes love of tea. It's their justice to Iroh. They horribly butchered his name, but they did him justice.
M. Night Shyamalan gets on set and he just doesn't know what to tell background people to do, and he's like, just
sweep dirt.
Just sweep. And they're like, but the other guy's got the broom. And he's like, just sweep it up with your hands. All right, I'm paying attention because ever since I realized there was a shot where he stares directly into our souls, I have not seen that shot again, which is starting to make me feel like I'm going insane. Like he only looked, like in the middle of a fugue state, he looked at me and then never again through any of the other viewings. There it is! There it is! He's looking at me!
Was that
giggling.
actress there, like 23 years old, just on her knees?
No. Ark, that shot of her was obviously her when she was like 6 years old.
I'm
like,
aware of that. I'm
completely
talking about the
different
actress. Was it the actress, same actress?
No! You for real?
Yeah, it looks the same actress to
That
me.
6-year-old girl you think is the same actress as the 28-year-old girl that we see at the very end of the film. That little Airbender kid's got an iPad.
It was his script.
It was his copy of the script.
Aang specifically says in the series that the air temples can all...
Sorry, Appa keeps interrupting you. What the f was that face? How have I never noticed that he made that face?
Yeah, he was very devilish there.
That
You
weird,
have to
like,
comment on that face before.
that weird happy chipmunk face that he makes.
You've commented on that before.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, you said like put your demon child away.
No, I didn't. I never said those words. What are you talking about? It's all on. We've got it all taped.
Yeah, you're gonna watch all 24 hours?
Yes. No. I don't know. I don't have to prove to you that something didn't happen. You gotta prove to me that something did happen. Oh. Well. He did his best.
I'm not dissing the.
M. Night did his best.
That's the angle you're going for. That's the angle you're going for right now.
Oh, M. Night did his
18
best.
18 hours in, he did his best. If you admire my.
This is a
art.
really nice ball. Oh, hey, how's it going? Frank. It's a meme now.
Give a meme.
Do not harm my son. Leave him to his isolation.
You have my word, sire. I will not harm him.
Will not harm.
Blow his ass up.
I won't harm him, but I'll report back to you in a single day that he somehow miraculously blew up in a ship.
Oh.
Appa wasn't even in that scene.
Oh, that one was me. That one was me. Here
If
it
she would
is,
have laid in a
boys.
pool of
The last
water.
time we're gonna get it. Oh no!
Oh
The
my
moon's
god!
back.
Now all of the benders can bend.
This is a glorious day. We can bend. Oh
What
no! All the water
I
benders.
killed you!
They're gonna get their bending back, and then never mind.
Oh,
Well,
shit.
Dead. Actually.
Katara's smiling at it. She's like, haha, this is absolutely terrifying.
Oh
It's
my
like
god,
300
that's
foot tall.
Avatar Aang's wave.
I wish his wit.
Excuse me?
What?
What did she wish?
Nothing.
About what?
I started to
His-
say something and then
about
realized that he was like 11 years old.
This movie's garbage. F everybody. F all of you people for making me do this.
We're like a third of the way through this thing.
So why'd you
What do
say
mean?
that to
That's
me?
like half. That's like.
We're a third of the way through. It's already felt like we've been doing this for a long time. So if I take everything that we've just done and do it again, we're still not done. That makes me want to cry. God. Oh, I just got a stitch.
Oh no.
Oh no. Oh God. Oh no.
So it would not work later on.
Oh God. Ow.
Okay. Is this movie physically harming you?
Oh no. Oh, the movie's gotten into my ribs. My heart stopped there for a second.
Quick, take an energy drink. That'll get it pumping again.
Oh, God, my heart is on fire.
My stomach is protesting.
You're gonna wake the dragon. You're gonna wake the dragon, and you cannot judge me for the consequences of your actions. And he takes your buries you, and then digs you up and you in your grave. You cannot.
Whoa! That took a turn. Apologize to the stream and chat in general.
I better be on your behalf. Don't you apologize for me.
This will be like, it'll end up being like 19 hours. That's my guess. If I'm wrong, I'll take a shot. If it's over 19,
if you're wrong, I will deep throat this microphone until I'm dead. Allow me to free myself from this prison.
Although I don't have
room 1408. The only way out is to kill myself.
Please do not die in my house.
What if I end myself in such a way that you're just like, yeah, there's nothing I can do about this?
That's most ways. I'll be like,
as soon as the last one's done, I'm gonna thank everyone for being here, and I'm gonna tell them to off and go be with their families. Then I'm gonna go fall asleep somewhere, curled up in a fetal position, and hope that I don't have nightmares about dragon spirits, ice wet buttholes. I hate this. Oh man, guys, I can't wait for the sequel. Oh my god, we've done it! It's written, produced, and directed by M. Night Shyamalama Ding Dong. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Speedrun over. 18 hours, 27 minutes, almost exactly. No one has done it faster than us. I have thought about this a lot, and I want to genuinely give you guys my actual response to this question. I am currently leaning in the direction of I would not want to do this again. The question was, would I rather do this or watch Korra? Sitting down and watching anything for like 17 plus hours is going to be awful.
Yeah, I mean,
I did the thing that they said that I wouldn't want to do. A lot of people got upset that I said that I didn't like Korra. A lot of people got upset when they were like, dude, are you serious? You would watch that piece of shit like 10 times and like you really liked that? And I'm like, no. Like I've said countless times during the stream, I think both Korra and this movie are bad. The only reason I picked this was because I thought that it would be so bad that it was entertaining. And like, obviously, if I go, oh, well, would I do it now? It's like, well, no. But also, that's being twisted because I already did it once. So just this time alone, definitely got really hard at like doing 5.
Yeah, I would agree.
It was rough from 5 to about 8. And then like halfway through 8 till now, it's been easy again. There have been some fun points in here. And like, I feel like a large majority of the time that I would be watching Korra, I would just be disappointed and upset and angry, which I guess could be more entertaining for you guys, not necessarily for me.
And I would bet there's still about 25% of this movie I have not seen yet.
That's fair. That's accurate.
I set out to learn some things about this movie that no one else had ever noticed before, and I think I succeeded. All it took was watching the last Airbender movie 10 times in a row, and an additional 15 times during the edit. Thank you to ARK for going on this journey with me. You will be missed, and my thoughts go out to your family. A big thanks also goes out to Julia and Jared for helping me during the script writing process, Deadbed Spread for the quick voiceover cameo, and to any of you who watched the rough cut of this monster. I worked hard on this video. It's the longest thing I've ever made, and I'm really proud of it. Hopefully it does well enough that I'll get to do this again. There's a lot of really shitty movies out there. But until then, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.